Okay! Power! Gazer!
Have you heard the rumors?
About what?
The rumors from the board.
The demon.
He's coming!
What happened?
They're all dead! Oh no, no! It's him! He's coming! He's coming!
Impossible! Get him out of here!
He's coming! He's coming for us all!
Who's there? An imposter has sullied our name! We are the might of the kingdom! For the king! No. Please. You, Gaimin. Please.
What is up, everyone? Liz here, not with an NACT recap, but something even better. Now, real NAOG fans know that Area 77 is a name that's been making NACT history since day one. So today, let's probe into the personalities of their current lineup with some fun questions to get on the human side of the alien legends. In the event of a real alien invasion, which NACT player would you want to be on your team?
For Rome, I take Jay because he's a Giga Chad. He goes to the gym every day. For Mage, I take Mar.
For me, I think I'll take Jay. He's a tank, you know. He used to be in the Navy, so I think he got me.
For me, I'll take Mar, Basic, PZ, Jay, and Yureshi. Because we're all Filipinos, we could communicate better, you know? We're gonna survive the invasion.
In the the event of a real alien invasion, which MLBB heroes would you choose to be on your team?
I might take Lolita, you know, his second skill shield.
For me, I'll take Chip. So we just teleport, you know. Chip and Louis.
If there was an invasion, I'll be Fredrin. I'll just be tanking all the damage.
Who do you think on your team has the most Riz?
For me, it would be Mark, because he pulls all the girls. Like, he just stares at them and they fall in love. I don't know how. He's the Riz god.
No. Yeah. For me, I'll take Jay. I'll pick Jay. I'll pick Jay.
Oh,
I saw him last NACT, the interview thingy, and he just risked someone in there. I don't know.
I think Marin drops.
Silent killer, ISO.
He got the championship buff too.
Nah, it's Ureshi. He pulls all the e-girls. Come on, let's be honest. He has 5 e-girls right now in his roster. Come on. No reaction by Ureshi.
What is Ureshi's best Riz line?
One time he was like, "Damn girl, your ass so fat. What you be doing?" Now he was like, "Damn girl, you got the yachts."
How do e-girls get your attention in game? By feeding? Getting high elo? Cute prof pick maybe?
I'm more focused on winning, like MSC, you feel me?
Like Ureshi's the only guy who leaves practice just for e-girls.
Yeah.
Who is your all-time esport inspiration?
For me, it's gonna be Faker from League of Legends, because he's always been at the top for like years now. So I like his consistency.
If you guys know Seb, the OG Dota player, it's like how he motivates his teammate and play as a captain too.
Which era of Area 77 would you say is your prime?
For me right now, I think it's the best lineup that we had. Because I think we're all Filipinos, it's easier, you know? I think that's it.
What do you want people to think when they think of Area 77?
GOAT.
Filipino pride.
I want people to fear us.
If you could remove one hero from Mobile Legends, who would it be?
I really don't know. I wanna play all heroes. Nothing.
Yeah, so for me, it's gonna be Export, because it's annoying how much sustain he has.
I agree.
If you can become best friends with anyone in the Mobile Legends community, who would you choose?
I'll have Jay.
I'll choose Speedy too, if you ask me.
Yeah, that's it. Jay.
What's the reason?
We're always happy. Good vibes.
For me, if I had to choose a best friend, it would be Ureshi.
Come on, Ureshi.
Big pick on a Momoy here, though.
Big stun, Eternal Guard going down. The Terrify, Tarzan finding Momoe. One member falling for the side of the Night Horde. Demon Hunter Sword picked up by R. Getting those core items. Zero! Very low. This is for the Akai. Comes into play, the frontline bully. But speaking of frontline bully, Dennis, welcome. Oh my foe! Going in for the kill. Finds JQT. Final slash goes out. Ureshi joining the party. Ureshi taking down Sayori. Zero. He wants blood. Still cables in. The cutthroat.
He uses it for the minions, clears out the waves. Ooh, maybe a whiff. Sayori goes down.
Ooh, quick kill by ISO. Able to take him down. ISO finding Momoe for the double triple. 5-0. Immortality being procced on Tarzan. A maniac. ISO. The immortal. The unstoppable. He wants the savage. Does he get it? They're not even worried about the base. Oh my goodness.
Whoa!
Oh, bounce. But look at
Focus
the
on the
damage.
base.
The triple kill from my phone. The base crystal. What is going on right now?
EA, man, able to get these objectives And then Melon as well, just farming away, has been doing a great job. And finally, Kush puts a kill on the map.
Oh, yeah, they need to watch out for Melon. Going in for Pro Destroy. We'll take him down to Blazing Duet. Your cutie Frog Armor has been taken down. BMI back to safety, but still in the fight. Takes down the turret and now going in for the kill. Joy Bosch onto your cutie. We'll be able to take him down. Yeah, respect the power of a swan song. Last standing from your cutie. Both teams fighting it out in the Lord pit. Kush very low, not in position for the retribution. Melon need to get out of the Kohari, taking a lot of damage, able to dodge the last insanity. Look at the Lord though, 50% HP. Pro Destroy able to claim it. Swan song in, Members out. Kohari finds Jato. Chirabami finds Kush. A double kill.
Yeah, he does not have any more. Oh, another wild charge comes in at the cost of Cold World's life. Mozen comes in, heavy spin onto Joy Bosch, looking for a kill onto him. Melon is down. Oh my gosh, a lot of damage goes onto BTK, but the rest of DA, are they going to be able to capitalize on him? Yellow still has that immortality.
This Lord objective, if the side of BTK chooses to come in, they could find a fight that's potentially in their favor, and it does look like they're looking for it.
Yeah, they're going to be able to possibly get this. Mozen gets the...
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the 2024 North American Challengers Tournament spring season. This has been an absolute wild showcase of all of the best teams so far up to this point, but today we do find ourselves in the last online event of this series. We are in the lower bracket currently, fighting to see who is going to get to go to Vegas, who is going to get to meet GG there in Vegas to showcase superiority in North America. Today on the caster's desk, we've got Private Dancer himself as well as the one and only Trex. Boys, how you feeling?
I mean, after last night's games, I don't know how to feel, man. After yesterday's, I was up late last night watching those games. I had to catch them later, and it was intense. And at this point, we were a little worried about the beginning of playoffs. We had a lot of sweeps, but finally things are getting interesting, and I don't think tonight is going to disappoint.
I caught them on time, and I was still kind of reeling from all of the emotion, especially that last series going to a Game 5 with BTK unfortunately dropping down. But right now, I mean, why? That's why we're here right now. Both teams, Area 77 and BTK, not down and out yet. This being the end of the line, though, this is that last chance to see who is going to be that second team going to the grand finals in Las Vegas.
I think, honestly, above even who goes to Vegas, I think it's worth taking into account that I finally got a guess right. And with that being said, Trex, can you take us into the playoff brackets?
All right, it's been a long haul. All 8 teams started off, and I mean, we started off just swinging. A lot of teams just completely dominating others. And so far, it has accumulated to last night where we saw Area 77 take out DA in a devastating 3-0 sweep, but the GG and BTK game went all 5 games down to the line, 50-50, and it's leaving everyone guessing, how is Area 77 going to be able to, go up against BTK tonight? Who's going to move forward? And with last night's game being so close, what is Grand Finals going to look like?
I definitely think it's worth taking into account that we have to remember what these teams are fighting for. And at the end of the day, it is this massive $25,000 prize pool. It's that first prize of $10,000 paired with 100,000 diamonds. And then again, prizes thereafter scaling. And with that being said, there is so much on the line. And with so little time left, we are really getting to that point. So tell me, what do you guys think you would do with that money? What would you do with that 10,000? I want to hear from both of you.
A couple new suits, I'd buy a new host. And me and Private would go get, some Korean barbecue like we do every time in Vegas, but a lot of Korean barbecue.
Yeah, it's quite the prize pool for everybody. Mostly, though, the big thing here is like being able to hoist that banner of North America going into the international stage, especially for an event like MSC. And I think that's what has kind of invigorated a lot of teams. The whole of North America right now is just what it means to represent North America, and then that stepping stones that we have here that will carry us beyond.
And I do think that makes a great point. I think a lot of these players are playing not just for a prize pool, but for the glory, for that name on the NACT trophy, and the right to say, hey, as far as North America is concerned, we are him right now. So with that being said, Private, can you take us into today's matchup?
Yeah, today it's going to be two teams, two stories, two huge lines of history backing here in North America. It is the Bloodthirsty Kings taking on Area 77. Both of these teams fighting for their survival here in the NACT. Both, I want to say, licking their wounds from matches that brought them to the lower bracket, but here is where it all counts. Here is who tells us who's going to meet that Titan in Gaimin Gladiators in Las Vegas.
Speaking of who's going to meet who, Trex, can you take us through the BTK roster?
The BTK roster, one that we've gotten to know very well. Basic in the gold lane, Cole World in the roaming position, Nicolette in the mid lane, Moba Zane in the jungle, and the GOAT himself, Mielo, in the EXP lane. You know, the doubters, whatever they have to say, the naysayers wondered how this lineup was going to get themselves together in time, and so far, they have not disappointed, but they have one more hurdle before they get to Vegas.
And with that being said, as strong as BTK has been looking, we've also seen a lot of dominance coming from Area 77. Private?
Yeah, especially when it comes to their roster. We're going to have ISO bringing up the gold lane, Roman J. Cutie. Marcutie, new this season for the mid, but not new in North America. Tarzan at the jungle. And Yureshi, that former MPL XP laner, bringing it up for Area 77.
I think a lot of these teams are, a lot of these teams have been wanting to put out some of the energy and become the enigma that some of these, Area 77, BTK, GG have actually managed to be. And with that being said, I've really left with a lot of questions, even coming into this match, not even getting into the whole Vegas thing yet. I feel like there's so much still that we have left to air out, because this has been, not only a roller coaster of a season, but it's been very dramatic. There's a lot of stories that go into a lot of these experienced teams. And again, with the people that are boiling down into, I feel like there's a lot to talk about.
Area 77, BTK, this is a matchup that goes down for the centuries, the lore of NA, right? And it never seems to really disappoint. But Area 77 with their most recent lineup, right? Full of Filipino blood, a lot of pride. They've slowly kind of built up some more of a fan base too. I feel like you have Jay Cutie, Yureshi, both coming over from the MPL scene across the seas. It's a team, and they take out BTK day one of season. There's definitely a lot to unpack here, but BTK now has grown a lot over the season, and I'm wondering, I feel like this time it's like, can Area 77 do what they did in the beginning of the season again?
For me, it kind of boils down to one word, and that is pressure. I want to say Area 77, they've been up here at this point before, but they've never been this high. For me, they've already surpassed what they did last season as well. And let's not forget, last season, this is where BTK hit that wall. Right when it came up to the semifinals, everybody was expecting them to meet back then, the Ohio brothers in the grand finals. And unfortunately for them, they met Avalon, a newly, I want to say, invigorated Avalon, and got knocked out of the tournament. Here, they're going to be taking on a team who they already know they cannot underestimate, because they already took that loss in the regular season here against a team like Area 77. So BTK, you know that all the pressure is on them. They don't want to make that same mistake that they made at the season. They don't want to make that same mistake that they made last season at the semifinals here once again.
So I think we all know the facts, but the question is what are the opinions? Who do you guys think is going to win?
Oof. After hearing Private just now hype up Area 77, I almost want to change my vote, because there is such a good point of like last season, we saw the comeback of Area 77. They get to 4th place. They have this crazy season run last season. If anyone does remember, they barely made it into playoffs, and they just snuck in by like a point or two, and then they get knocked out of 4th place. This season, now they're at 3rd place. You know, they're fighting for a grand finals finish. So it's a storyline to follow, man. But in the end, yeah, BTK, baby. I don't want to talk about votes right now, all right? Wait. How did Wheezy go up 3 on me? These are wrong. There's something I only guessed 2 wrong yesterday, and we were the same vote.
What did Private get one right?
Oh, yeah, that's because I guessed Area 77 over devious activity. But when we're talking about stats, here's the thing for me. There's juju in the air. I don't know if you guys can feel it, but it is the spiritual connection that happens with a lot of these votes. And last time when Area 77 beat BTK, I had voted for BTK. So I don't want to change things up. I'm going to try to keep it the same, see if Area 77 can stack up to what BTK has built here. Because I want to say, when it comes to the numbers, when it comes to who has been here before, of course you're going to be pointing at BTK. This is Area 77's moment to shine, to prove everybody wrong. We're going to see during the match what the fans have voted as well, but I want to say it's mostly going in favor of BTK, and this is what Area 77 is fighting against and for here.
So I came up this with a non-conventional outlook. Almost all of my guesses up to date have been wrong. So with that being said, I voted for BTK. Let's go Area 77. Reverse psychology. Before Trek starts to rail into me, get your phones ready because I think we got a giveaway.
Ooh, we love a good giveaway, guys.
You guys
QR
see it.
codes.
We've got the codes up. We got the QR codes. We've got a plethora of different options for you guys to pick from if you can manage to be within the 40-person first come first serve limited quantity of skins. With that being said, make sure you guys are fast because it might already be too late. These things go fast. Some of these guys stacking up with 2, 3, 4, 5 phones, and just like that, I'm out of a paycheck.
Yeah, because you actually supply all the skins. Like, the giveaways are actually just Zeke. So make sure you guys get them because it all comes out of his casting check at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's why I'm in poverty.
That's why be gentle with those skins. Only 40 skins, so get them while they're hot. But yeah, we're gonna just go ahead and start this off already, just with a giveaway for the fans here. Get you guys primed up. There's only one series here tonight, but pretty much one of the most important series of this playoffs here, because this is one person will be leaving here. Unfortunately, this is going to be the end of the road for one of these teams. And like I said, there's a lot of fanage for BTK, but I cannot stress how even this is right now, and what, like I have said already, Area 77 already has walked away with a victory over BTK. Some say like this was kind of like that fated match that was supposed to happen 2 years ago when we first started off NACT. They were all looking at Area 77 to be that team that dethroned BTK. We got a little taste of that here earlier in the season, and now they're looking to finish the job to kind of stand up as like a new top of the line here in North America.
With that being said, Area 77 did come into at least the playoffs. They said it before the regular season, but they said it again coming into the playoffs. They are going to get to Vegas. But tonight is the night that we find out if that is the case. Who will come out on top? We're going to find out in the draft.
Definitely now. I mean, I do want to point something out real quick, Private, you know. This match right here gives me, like, you know, it gives me the jitters, man, because if we go back like a few years ago, this is the very first grand finals I ever casted. BTK, Area 77. You've been mentioning it. These are two teams that have been around since the beginning, right? And I think, you know, for a while, Area 77 kind of fell apart, and for a while, we've been waiting for them to kind of pick back up the pieces and become a mainstay. And, you know, what better opponent to have for either team to get to the grand finals than these two right here. You know, it brings back memories. It's a nostalgic matchup right here, and I just hope it doesn't disappoint.
I mean, that's why ultimately we're really hoping for. We want to see that best of 5 like we saw with BTK taking on Gaimin Gladiators. Could have gone either way there. And here, right now, BTK taking on Area 77. Such strength and such name stays here for both of these teams. I mean, for one, to point out, Tarzan's jungling ability has just been top notch. Mark Hudi, while not always in the mid lane, he's shined wherever he's gone, whether it's been in the gold lane position, whether it's in the mid. But talking about people that have that flexibility, Cold has quickly climbed to the top of the ranks as a great roam for BTK. And let's not take anything away from Nicolette, who has been like just such a prominent in that mid lane, especially when it comes to heroes like Valentina or Faramis, those heroes that meld well with her, I want to say her roaming ability that she used to have as well. It's just both of these teams bring so much to the table. The big thing here now is going to be, how are these drafts going to unfold for both of them?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think there's a lot of comfort picks for both teams, and we're already seeing some of them come up. The Fredrin on the Mobazane, and then this Arlott on Yureshi is vicious, man. It's something that every time I see Area 77 draft, it's like, you got to be careful about giving Yureshi this Arlott. It is monstrous, and even if they want to, they can always flex it over to Jay. Just the Arlott in general is a vicious pick. Area 77 also picking up the Valentina, something we saw Nicolette favor into a lot last night up against GG. Do pretty well as well on GG. I mean, against GG last night on this pick, so already kind of limiting things, but with the Lao Yi band out, now it's like, so what do we pick on her? The Novaria's open. We didn't see her really jump into that much last night, but already kind of, I mean, it's kind of, I guess it's Vex, something along those lines. But we're already starting to limit down on what she's going to be able to pick up. And now with her going into second phase, if Area 77 wants to ban into her, it makes it even tougher.
Yeah, really interesting here is, we were talking about it off air a little bit. Matilda survives the first round of bans and picks, potentially, depending on where we go with JQT here. But a lot of priority being paid into, and yeah, it is going to take out, I don't even know if they're going to kind of ban it out here. We do have the Roger out there. I'm going to assume that that's going to be going into the marksman position. We've already seen how great, and I've been talking about this for the last few weeks. There's so many players right now, Roger being one of them, that can be such an instrument and a tool for a team to be able to turn things around. We saw that Zia able to get the Savage yesterday with that Roger, and it has become one of those pick or ban placements for a lot of these teams because of what he can bring after he's gotten those items, after he gets into the mid lane here. And then now Mielo picking up that Edith. I'm not sure if this is going to be for that XP lane or we're going to maybe use it for Cold World to get a lot of those sets in just yet.
I mean, the Roger, it's just the reap ability, the chase ability, the ability to clean up and just take people out when they're down. Anything, like once you're below 50% health, you are a target for Roger. And I think we see it all the time. We saw last night after the big Lord fights, after those big brawls, a Roger can come in and really just capitalize on multiple members compared to certain other marksmen. But the Edith pick has just... it's one of those picks that we see fall out, come back in, fall out, come back in. And it's just interesting, some of these small meta changes, even to heroes that, you know, haven't had exactly big buffs or big nerfs in a sense. But I think it's more about what else is falling off and on and what else is getting picked more. And I think Edith, just in general, with pick pressure, with something like Rogers, some of these more, they just need a little bit of time to be able to unload enough damage. It's where picks like the Edith are kind of becoming a bit more prevalent.
Yeah, we did see that BTK went ahead, took off Harith off the board, which has been one of those bigger counters for the Roger in the lane. The amount of damage he has with Harith's new changes, his first ability, the swing on it, he's a lot quicker, so he can fill in with that Zaman Force and get those dashes, first ability, dash, very smoothly, and he just becomes so oppressive for the enemy team. But Area 77 very quickly pick up Claude to kind of match out with the damage that we're going to have coming out of BTK. And I do want to say, BTK has been very good about a lot of the ultimates that they're giving to this Valentina. I mean, you've got the Appraiser's Wrath out there. You've got the metaphysical change from basic, Primal Wrath. I mean, a lot of these ultimates, Sands, I want to say now we've given them kind of a Divine Judgment and potentially a Swan Song. So, I mean, you're going to have a little bit of that damage and potentially, I want to say, matching up that Divine Judgment.
There's that Odette. We were just talking about that off cam too. We were wondering what is up with this. And, you know, we've seen it a few times. Ever since M5, ever since AB Bren kind of pulled it out, we've seen it trickling in and out here and there. We've seen it do well. We've seen it do bad. There's still a lot of... I don't think we've really gotten like an official account yet from any like big coach or anything of like what the point of it is. I think a lot of us as casters are still kind of like theorizing. For me, I think it can do well against the Claude, maybe against the Valentina. Some of these more close rangey divers because of the dash and then the swan song and everything. So we'll see. It's definitely questionable. It's game 1. It's a best of 5. There's some time, but still very pick heavy on the side of BTK. We saw a very similar lineup like this last night from both teams, honestly, with the Kaja, with the Edith. It is attack and go type movements. We're going to be jumping into game number 1 in the Land of Dawn lower bracket finals. BTK up against Area 77.
Yeah, and I've got to wonder what kind of stress, or if any, is on the shoulders of BTK. Like we said, they've been at this position before, unfortunately losing to Avalon in the semifinals last season. Then Area 77 also has a win over them in this season. To see if there's going to be any type of changes, we take a look at those the little viewers. I want to say this is closer than I thought it would be for BTK. 30% and 70% for BTK.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, man, Area 77 has gotten some. They've had some traction this season. A lot of foreign viewers have been jumping on the boat with them. You know, I mean, even with Nicolette able to get the kill on a Marcuti already 1-0, and we saw some of the trade-offs there in the laning phase, and just kind of the aggression from Nicolette already happening.
Yeah, and that's going to set, and you don't realize these little things are going to be what sets Area 77 back a bit, especially for getting that level 4 for that first turtle. Now we do have a little bit of an aggression coming in at the bottom jungle.
Yeah, a little bit of damage on a JQT, forced to use the flicker, but JQT, I mean, that's his goal. As long as he doesn't go down, he's able to get vision, he's able to maybe delay Zane as much as possible and help Marcuti get ahead.
Yeah, as we were looking at some of those emblems, a whole lot of quantum charges coming out from everybody, especially on the side of Area 77. You saw a lot of the agility out there as well. We're going to be looking at a very mobile team. I want to say they're going to be looking to engage very quickly and not really kind of hold these lords or these objectives very long. They're going to look to get in, get that damage off, and then kind of separate from the objectives. You can see here we're starting on that very first turtle.
Most definitely, Mobazane going to be able to kind of start things off here. Area 77 look for an angle in. Tarzan Cutie on the bot side. Definitely got to keep an eye on him, but Cold World doesn't have level 4 yet. Nicolette does. Here comes the Swan Song. Tarzan Cutie, though, able to take the turtle. Cold World goes down, and so does Mobazane. BTK now on the run. It's going to be a turtle plus 2 kills. A huge advantage for Area 77.
Yeah, almost shades of what we saw last night from BTK facing Gaimin Gladiators. BTK able to get the objectives, but Gaimin Gladiators really punishing them right after. You can see here Area 77. This time they get the turtle themselves and are able to punish BTK with 2 kills there, especially Mobazane, who was just right in the middle of the fray and not able to escape. You can see here ISO getting a little bit of pressure down there up at the top lane. And now Jay Cutie doing his best to kind of harass Mobazane for his purple buff.
I mean, he's been doing that for a while now. Mobazane does get the purple buff there, but since the beginning of the game, we've just been seeing Jay in his jungle, man, in his face, always keeping tabs on Mobazane, and it could be one of the reasons why Area 77 has been able to move around so cleanly, but able to just kind of do whatever they want because they always know where Zane is, they always know where Cold World is, Nicolette as well, and they haven't been able to take out Zane. JQT looking for the steal here. They are able to get the Divine Judgment onto him, pull him back, but he uses the flicker. Should be able to get away here. Milo also trying to lock on. They get the flip up. They get the knock up, and down comes the bonk. Mobazane able to get the kill. But still, using 4 members, look at all the pressure coming into the mid lane. Look at all the pressure on the top side. All of that just to take out JQT still almost feels like a win for Area 77.
Yeah, and you're talking about additional costs. You had 3 ultimates there spent there. However, it kind of comes down to a lot of pressure going back and forth. The kills don't really matter as much as it is when you're able to start pushing into these towers, when you're able to actually make something out of some of these kills and prioritize some of those objectives. Right now we're seeing, yeah, he did get taken down there, but they're in an actual prime position for this next turtle.
Ooh, Yureshi brought very low. Does end up going down. Mielo able to pick up the kill. Mobazane also trying to get involved in this. Tarzan Cutie taking a lot of damage. Finally drops. Nicolette able to find it. And Wade the Divine Judgment also locks on. Another one falls. It's 3 members down for the side of Area 77. BTK quickly turning things around here. Second turtle up, ready to go. The lead has now shifted over.
Yeah, what a punishing fight for Area 77. Not only do they lose 2, almost 3 members there, but also they're going to give up this turtle and now pressure onto the purple buff. And there's not really much they can do about it. They're starting to wane, or they're starting to, I was about to say bleed out gold, but it's still kind of centered around them. But that fight, it was a little elongated for Area 77. They spent a little too much time at the bottom, really trying to kind of come to blows when they need to kind of continue on with that plan. Make sure that you're not getting flanked. Make sure that you have people to kind of support these fights instead of just kind of blindly looking for opportunities.
I mean, we still have ISO and Basic up in the gold lane. Kind of want to talk about them a bit. ISO has been getting a little bit better of the rotations. I feel like has been pushing in a little bit harder onto Basic here. How that's going to start affecting in the late game, how both members are going to be able to really help out the team, I think it could be huge. Because personally, I like the scaling of the Claude into the later game. But if Cold World can target down Claude when some of these big fights happen, if one Divine Judgment lands down, it could become a problem, and it could be the win con for BTK.
Yeah, it just depends, because there's a lot of peel on the side of Area 77. They got the Wild Charge out there. You've got Tarzan can actually come in there with the Mortal Coil. You've got the Frighten from Mark Cutie. Yureshi has the Final Slash. So there's a lot of opportunities for us to try to bait out that Divine Judgment, try to get Cold World in close, and then turn it around on him. I'm not sure who got that, but right now, Mobazane, very confident with his ability right now, rushing into the jungle, able to kind of steal some minions away from Area 77, which is a little bit of a change up that we saw from right at the beginning of this game. So it does look like BTK kind of relaxed, as we do have a conceal coming out.
Field play from Cold World, looking for a possible target. Not going to be able to lock on to anything there. They decide to back off, don't overcommit at all. Turtle going to be up in 8 seconds. Want to make sure they have a good position for that.
This is stuff that I really appreciate about them. They don't linger. They don't try to force a fight. They go up there. They weren't able to find an opportunity. You're actually in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, Yureshi actually makes the engage on Mielo, but now maybe regretting it. Mielo chasing down all by himself. Yureshi does dash back in. Mielo forces a flicker, but Mark Cutie chases him down. Mark Cutie looking for the kill. Mark Cutie, one more shot, will get knocked up. Mielo still able to get away, but because he's left him alone, ISO drops on the backside. Mark Cutie left him behind.
Oh, what a turn. They get so thirsty to try to chase that out that they leave their squishier members behind, and they find BTK finds a kill anyway, even while disengaging from that fight. Next turtle is up. Oh, Final Slash is out.
Big Final Slash. Nicolette able to get away though, but Area 77 making some plays, but not able to turn them into kills, not able to turn them into these big moments.
Yeah, now we're going to go ahead and start on the next turtle. And BTK able to find a tower up at top and starting to push the macro at the bottom lane as well.
It almost feels like Area 77 might be, trying a little too much. Instead of just like waiting for the exact moments, they're trying to turn everything into that exact moment. Mobazane able to take the turtle. Basic now engaging onto Tarzan. Tarzan able to get away there. Nice taunt on to JQT, but still nothing major. BTK going to move on to the mid tower in the tier 3. Clean things up. Bottom tier 3 as well, looking very low. And that's going to break. Once they break that one down, whole front line of towers down on the side of Area 77.
Yeah, that's going to open up the entire jungle. It's going to mean like as defensively. Oh, we have another Divine Judgment.
No survival there. JQT is going to go down, but ISO comes into the backside with the Blazing Duet, able to get some nice damage, but nothing too major. Still unable to fully unload on the side of BTK. Area 77 is going to have to be careful checking bushes, everything, because Cold World is just waiting with those Divine Judgments.
Yeah, and unfortunately for ISO right now, just does not have the scaling, does not have the items that he needs just yet to be able to be doing it. Like, he unloaded a full barrage onto him. He does have the Demon Hunter sword here as well. 2 items down, still looking for the Endless to really kind of hunker down, or no, still looking for the Golden Staff to really hunker down that damage on to Bloodthirsty Kings.
Definitely. I mean, once he gets that, we're going to start to see a bit more. He's definitely going to start being a lot more healthful, but he's not going to be able to do it alone. The rest of the team needs to also, you know, we need those sets from JQD, and I think that's going to start to be a problem is they need to find a way to deal with Cole World because JQD, it's true, he can't safely check things right now. Cole World isn't really playing the aggressive Kaj right now. He's more of the wait Kaja. I'm just going to wait for you to come to us, ult one of you. I don't always have to get ISO. If I can get any one of you off the map, then it's a win for my team.
So patient. You can see Cole World didn't even move an inch. I would have jumped. I would have jumped in there and been like, ah, crap, my bad. But like, they're so patient waiting for Mobazane, trying to bait out some of these abilities right now. And you were perfect about mentioning Cole World. He's gonna sit in this bush. He's gonna wait for it because so far Area 77 has not really been able to get to those team fights, to get these sets that they need to kind of kick off and initiate. Instead, they're always responding to BTK right now. And that's kind of a winning formula for BTK.
Yeah, it's almost rude what BTK is doing, like what Cold World's doing right now. It's like, nope, I'm not going to attack. We're just going to slowly let you suffocate over there. We're going to force you guys to come to us because right now they have the lead and they're not trying to make anything, you know, they're not trying to just like seal the deal right away. They know they have the advantage. Up in the boss side. Rashi gonna go down, and out comes Swansong. JQD caught in the midst of it, gonna fall as well. ISO with the Blazing Duet, unable to get away, or just able to get away. Mark Cutie uses the IMU to get a Swansong of his own. Mobazane does go down to the Decimation. Tarzan Cutie able to get the kill. It's 2 for 1. Area 77 finding something there and stopping BTK from taking this Lord too fast.
Yeah, it's just that Area 77 needs to respect the ability of Cole World to match up those Divine Judgments with the flicker there. You saw Yoreshi got completely surprised. They lost that final slash, and then a lot of abilities used defensively. ISO comes in very quick with that Blazing Duet. That Mark Cutie had to quickly use the Swan Song as well. Got killed anyway there, and now they're coming into this fight down 1 ultimate.
Yeah, they're trying to rush the Lord. They know Mobazane's not there. They know they don't have a Retribution, and they are able to take it. Well played by Area 77. BTK did their best to delay them, did their best to maybe stop them, but Area 77 comes out with the Lord. Should be able to buy them a little bit of space, a little bit of time, a little bit of breath.
Yeah, I like this, how quickly they were able to transition. And Mobazane goes down. You can see here already that Divine Judgment. And then you're going to see all the abilities go off. Blazing Duet goes off there. And then Mark Cutie with the Swan Song. So they lost 2 ultimates there, but able to turn it around. As soon as they see that Mobazane is down, they don't have a retry. Area 77 very quick to the punch. Got that Lord out because they had the advantage for it.
Oh, Yoreshi can't be walking into bushes like that, but a nice final slosh in response. Area 77 not down just yet, but Yoreshi going to take a lot of damage to the face, ends up falling. Nikolai with the flicker in. The Swan Song takes out a number member, but way basic, cut off by Tarzan. The Decimation locks on, and once again, it's a 1 for 2. Area 77 losing, but still hanging on.
Oh man, I'm not gonna lie, I really like the combination right now. ISO is starting to do a decent amount of damage. You saw the Blazing Duet come out there, but on there as well, Tarzan with that Blazing Duet out. Tarzan's just sitting right next to him, waiting to be able to get that Decimation out. Mobazane a little bit of trouble here. He's still trying to go in against 3 members.
That was so much damage. The bonk is strong with this one right here. Private, the bonk is strong with this one. I mean, it's only a 1900 gold private. It feels like it's dead even.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I said, like, right now, it's coming down to fights. Mobazane, them, while I want to say BTK it feels like a commanding lead, all it takes is 1 disadvantage. Mobazane goes down, Area 77, able to answer back with a Lord, starting to take towers of their own, and starting to kind of put on this offense. It's just, I want to say some of the team fights right now, Area 77 is looking for a good team fight and not to be caught out. Unfortunately, BTK's composition, the Divine Judgment, Cold World on that Kaja, they're made to get these little catch outs, these little ganks onto singular players.
Yeah, and you know, we said in the very beginning that ISO on the Claude, it's going to start to scale into the late game better than the Roger. Roger has a nice mid game. He does have a decent late game. Like, don't get me wrong, there's still lots of possibilities for the Roger, but he's going to start having trouble engaging. He's going to start having trouble really even being involved in these fights. And if BTK can't get any members of Area 77 low enough health, there is nothing for Basic to really do. He's not a shredder. He is a sweeper. He's meant to clean things up. And Area 77, on the other hand, ISO, he can get involved right in the beginning of the fight. He's the one who can drop people down to, 20% health so that Marcuti and Tarzan or Yureshi can clean things up. So it's definitely slightly different compositions from the gold laners, and the farther this game goes on, I feel like Area 7 may start to have more and more of an advantage.
Yeah, as we're taking a look at some of the singular players here, you can see Nicolette sitting on 5, 0, and 4, just doing an immense amount of damage with that swan song, and then Basic kind of able to come in on the rebound once they drop low enough to get that Lycan pounce onto the lower members of Area 77. But now, the song and dance here at the Lord Pit as both teams vying for position.
And Nicolette, the unsung hero, definitely just dominating the game, 5-0 and 4, and it's one of those heroes on this, with this one song. It's not as flashy. You don't really see what's happening when it's happening. You don't really notice it, but 5 kills, 0 deaths is an amazing KDA. Wait a second. Big pick on Yureshi here. Judgment does lock on. Yureshi goes down. Another one. Immortality pops. Jay Cutie trying to get away here. Mobazane onto 2 members. Mark Cutie forced to use a flicker. Basic gonna lock on with the Lycan pounce, able to get the double kill. Another one falls. Tarzan is next. That's 3 members down for Area 77. 5 still standing for BTK, and the Lord should go down next.
It doesn't even matter what type of setting potential you have, how much CC you have, if the enemy team like BTK can get these pickoffs. It's not even, that wasn't even a divine judgment. I believe that was just a flicker from Yellow and a pop-up, and the entire BTK team pounced in, able to get the kill. Yureshi goes down, and then the rest of Area 77 falls down like dominoes.
Yeah, I mean, I think I wish I could see the replay, because I want to say that the Divine Judgment maybe didn't even lock onto Yureshi. Maybe it locked onto Jay, and they ended up getting kind of like a 2-for-1 special there. But yeah, it was definitely intense. I think we're going to be taking a look at it in just a second. No, Jay Cutie goes for the wild charge, maybe a little bit too aggressively there. And again, I feel like Area 7, we've seen it a couple times. They get split up in some of these team fights, and BTK immediately capitalizes on it. Whether it's Yureshi or Jay or more, they go a little too far ahead the rest of the team.
Yeah, and they're right now knocking at their gates. High ground towers are all that's left for Area 77 here. They need to come up with a plan. They need to be able to, I want to say right now, it's kind of starting to get a little far back as they're about 5K gold behind. They are losing that opportunity to be able to make plays happen for themselves. And that's been the difference maker at the beginning of this game. BTK making plays, creating opportunities, while Area 77, I don't want to say have been lackadaisical, but just a second too late for BTK in response to those divine judgments, to these pop-ups from Yellow.
Damage from Area 77 there, just able to kind of withhold. I'm waiting to see what ISO's going to be able to do here, if he's going to be able to kind of be the game changer. He's looking for a moment. Jay Cutie in the backside, big final slash on multiple members. There comes a blazing duet into the backside. Cold World melted down along with the rest of the team. Basic finally taken out in Area 77, pouncing back right now. Mobazane on the run, but Nicolette able to get the stun on Tarzan. Mielo falls. ISO gets the kill. It's 2 members down. They find 2 inhibitors. Is it worth it, Private?
Oh man, let me tell you what a beautiful play that was. Divine Judgment went on to Jay Cutie, and then the final slash from Yureshi came out. When they were all stacked in one position, there came out that wild charge from Jay Cutie, and the entirety of Area 77 pounced on them to beat them down. But on the backside, Nicolette able to save Mobazane, little stun out there to help him escape. But now, this is what I'm talking about. Just one little mistake from BTK. You're gonna see it here. The Divine Judgment comes out, final slash, here comes the final slash, and then a big wild charge hits 3 of them up into the wall. And that's just poetry in motion coming from Area 77. And now Area 77 starting to push their advantage.
Yeah, definitely disgusting. Luckily enough, BTK had some off lanes kind of cruising into Area 77's base there. Area 77 has to back off. They just get the tier 3 on the mid side. So BTK gets a little bit of space to breathe. You take a big loss like that this late in the game, it could have been huge because of their, push on that hole on both off lanes. They were able to kind of bide a little bit of time to look at BTK with the conceal play. Cold World knows something's there. Decide not to fully commit. He's like, wait, there's 3 people here. I gotta back off. I gotta back off.
I must have smelled the cologne in that bush right there. He decided right away, like, oh, this is a bad idea.
Uh-oh, a lot of damage on Mielo. Mielo pops the Guardian, tries to get back. Swansong comes out. Mark Cutie finds Mielo. Look at Ureshi getting low. Basic able to pick up the kill, but he has to back off. ISO was a blazing duet on the Cold World. Immortality pops. Nicolette might just be next, but no. ISO now taking the damage. Basic with a 1v1. Pops the Immortality, but now it's Tarzan up against him as well. And Basic on the run. His Immortality pops next. Mobazane trying to lock onto ISO or force him away. Basic still on the field. ISO still on the field. Both gold laners might just go down here, but ISO's not gone yet. ISO with the sidestep, still taking out Mobazane, able to find it. It's 3 for 3, but minions are on the base of Area 77, so they gotta go back.
And this is where all those little pointers, all those notes about how to push lanes, how to keep lanes pushed up before you engage are starting to pay off. Even when these fights don't turn in BTK's favors, they still have waves crashing into Area 77's core that no matter how long that they start these fights, they're going to have to answer. As we take a look at the replays here of that amazing last battle we just saw.
Yeah, I mean, it's all over the place right now. I love how both, in the end, ISO able to almost take out Cold World, almost take out Nicolette. Nicolette does end up having to back off. But I love this, both junglers just going after the gold laner. Basic knows that he's in a bad spot. ISO knows he's in a bad spot. But again, because of those inhibitors being down, BTK able to get position over this Lord, able to get position over everything. Mielo able to get the Lord. JQT looking for the wild charge. Mark Cutie with the Swan Song. Nicolette there as well. Tarzan brought low. Basic trying to clean up with the Lycan Pounce. Immortality pops from Tarzan. Tarzan trying to get away, able to get away, and now BTK is down Nicolette. Area 77, all 5 members still standing, but wait up in the top side. What is happening? Tarzan on the run, and Mobazane finds the kill, evening the playing field. Tarzan also picks up the Winter Truncheon there, but not in time. Golden Wand does finally lock on to Basic, and now Lord marching down the top side.
Oh man, what a turn of events there. And this is why you cannot leave any room for error against BTK. Even when you do lose the fight and you're teleporting in a bush, now you get caught up, you're down, and you have a Lord crashing in at your base.
The damage on Mielo as Immortality pops. JQT is going to get knocked up. Basic on the boss side, also trying to look for an angle. JQT back to base. BTK still unable to end things here. Area 77 putting up a fight. And with ISO sitting there, with ISO still up, they should be able to clear no problem. I think they need to start using ISO, though, to handle that long lane, to handle that bot lane. Because they're not going to be able to, if they keep on having these minions pressure in, it's going to be so hard for them to be able to keep up in these Lord fights.
The problem is when you're kind of juggling around at the objective, you give away your position and you show that ISO is in the furthest lane trying to clear it out. It tells BTK, we have the man advantage here. Let's hurry up, try to pick a fight with these guys, maybe get a Concealer, Divine Judgment. Ooh, a little bit of pop-up on him yellow.
Yeah, final slash on a Mobazane there. Ureshi going to use that one up. Mark Cutie also down in ult. JQT down in ult right now. It's going to be a good time for BTK to try to make a play.
Yeah, we can see right now 1 Immortality for the side of Area 77. I think just 1 on the side of BloodThirstyKings.
Divine Judgment. Mark Cutie. A lot of damage. Jay also down. Mortality pops. Basic, what are you doing? Maybe a little bit too deep there. Looking for the decimation. And you're actually able to find the kill. But now they walk right into the rest of BTK. Tarzan unable to do anything, just knock up, punch. But now still gonna fall. Nicolette finding the kill. Ureshi might just be next, but ISO getting a lot of free shots down. Also taking some shots himself. And Nicolette with a double kill, 8, 1, and 9. Queen in the mid lane. Cold World with a Divine Judgment and BTK. There's no way Area 77's gonna last this one out. They take game number 1.
was just about to say, is Yureshi immortal? Cold World had to come and drag him away from the fight just so BTK could just go to the core and shut this game down. But what a commanding and dominating first win by BTK.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just an overall great game. We get into the 20+ a minute mark there, into the late game. Both teams putting up, and if this is just a start of what we got to see for the rest of this series, it's definitely a good start.
Oh, yeah, these teams were actually very well matched. I want to say it's just coming down to a few little mistakes by Area 77, especially against a composition, a pickoff composition that is made to take advantage of a lot of it. You see all the movement speed on BTK. You had Cold World. You had Yellow over there trying to find these little pickoffs from Yureshi, who I'm not sure if Yureshi is one of the shot callers, but it's to the point where he kind of feels like a little distracted when he's in the mid. He's allowing them to close the distance, and I want to say at least twice I saw him kind of get caught there, force the engagement by Area 77, and unfortunately BTK coming out on top. But when there were a few of those engagements that they were able to turn around, it didn't matter at what point in the game was. Area 77 is able to kind of really take the command, able to kind of push forward until I want to say another one of those mistakes kind of come out there. But you could see here 0-2 and 19 for Cold World, and 8-1 8-1 and 9 for Nicolette, who had a spectacular game this game.
Nicolette, man, I mean, just a monster. Now we're gonna have to rebrand her the Bloodthirsty Queen, man. I just feel like has been so consistent, and for a player that we haven't seen play, for a whole season last season, took a little break, coming back in and just dominating over mid laners. I mean, getting the kill onto Marcuti. A lot of people put Marcuti up there. Yato said it himself, that's one of the players he's most worried about going against in the mid, and Nicolette just completely outclassing Marcuti on an Odette in the laning phase. 8-1 and 9, 77%. I mean, I'm just really, come on, we got to talk about it. Nicolette is not just one of the best girl players in NA. She's one of the best mid laners in NA, point blank, period.
I think you're telling the wrong person. I think me and you have agreed on this for years, that Nicolette, we've been waiting to see her in one of those teams that could really give her the space to unleash in that mid lane. And it's not just the mid lane where she shines. I was talking about this a little bit before, that she's also been a roamer in the past too. And I want to say that kind of meld, that mindset, that attention to the map has been something that has really helped her and kept her in these top plays, whether it's here as an Odette. We've seen her play that Valentina, where she can get these amazing sets with the Minoan Fury or other setting tanks out there as well. She just brings so much, and not usually as concerned when it comes to I want to say we don't really see her stats wise, because she usually plays, I want to say, those mechanical type of mages that come in with the Ice Queen wand, to be able to slow. She's not really concerned about the damage, just how she can help the team in those early games. And here, I mean, she's starting to shine through. And I know I'm going to hear it in my messages about this Odette plays, because I was not a fan before the last few weeks of seeing Odette out there, but it seems like she has a place to stay in the meta currently.
Hey man, we all get it. There's always that one hero that we're like, I feel like every season one of us have a hero and it's like, this isn't real, is it? And then it just keeps coming back and it's like, oh God, here we go. And this season we've had a lot of them, man. We had the Roger in the beginning of the season that all of us were like, is this real? Is this really happening? Now it's a namestay. Now we have this Odette creeping in towards grand finals. I mean, we have Edith showing her face again, and literally just from last week, after the patch last week, there's a lot of different heroes in these drafts that are seem to be prioritized, seem to be namestays. So I'm wondering, is Area 77 going to adapt to that? Will we see Area 77 maybe, pick up the Edith next game, something like that, kind of switch things up. And, back onto the Nicolette hype train, after seeing the Odette play, we're now adding more to the hero pool. And you mentioned, there's a lot of things that Nikolai can go for if she wants to pick up the fair miss or something like that. There's a lot of depth there, and we saw that last night in BTK versus GG. We saw the same thing from GG, really showing off a lot of different strategies, the Roger jungle, things of that nature. And that's what I feel like we need to see from Area 77 if they really want to push the boundary here. They need to be willing to get a little outside of the box, but be able to win with it. And, you know, we see a lot of teams throughout the seasons of NACT that get too outside of the box and aren't able to pull it off. But I think that, you know, BTK, Area 77, GG, they've learned the basics enough to where they're allowed to break the rules a little bit. And now it's like, can you do it and get away with it? And, you know, those are some of those final lines that maybe need to be crossed for Area 77.
For me, as much as I like the compositions, I don't feel like the composition from Area 77 was really kind of like a losing strat against BTK. I felt like it had a lot of CC, it had some front line, it had a lot of damage and mobility, but it was the execution. It's those rotations getting caught now and then. Those little mistakes are kind of what separates the men from the boys here at the tippy top of North America. And unfortunately, a little sharper is the sword of BTK in that last match against Area 77. I feel like with if they clean up a few of those little rotations, having Yureshi go out there alone, I want to say, you saw what happened when it was the roam, when it was I believe Jay Cutie who got caught from that Grok. He got pulled in. It was an absolute mistake for BTK. So if you kind of want to switch that out, make sure that the roam is the one doing the investigating, the one that's doing the poking, looking into the bushes. Then I think you'll have a much safer time from Area 77 in some of these matches.
I think Area 77 maybe needs to tighten things up, right? Because we also saw in the very beginning when ISO got cut off because Mark Cutie chased down Cole World a little bit too much, really just hunting for that kill and unable to get it. And because of that, ISO gets picked off. So, I mean, I think Area 77, definitely, if they tighten things up a bit, it's going to be a much different game because BTK is going to find those loose edges every once in a while. They're going to find those loose pieces and always capitalize on it. So, when they are going, very cleanly against when both teams are playing very cleanly, it definitely always falls out a little bit differently.
Yeah, right now we are seeing some familiar bands. Angela being back. There's just so many. This meta has brought out a lot of these older picks that I never thought would kind of come back. Angela, Lu Yi, one of my favorite mages out there, been prime at the bands there. And I want to say it's actually kind of shocking here. We get the Barats out there. I want to say not too many Zane focused bans here, which is usually like a calling card for a lot of these teams when they face BTK. I mean, you've given up the Fredrin, you've given up a lot of his favorite picks here that really do a lot in that objective centric fights.
Most definitely. And I mean, I don't know, Zane has showed that, the Fred, we even saw it with last night. GG sometimes would focus the Fredrin more than they'd be worried about the Barats sometimes. That's, MOBA Fred, it's one of the picks that has definitely just been coined, and there it is. I mean, up front, no worries. But Tarzan has also played very well in this Barats throughout the season, really able to make sure those Daytona's welcomes count. And it could be the difference maker when it comes down to some of these early objectives. It is a much different hero than the Martis. It supplies like a guarantee. If he can catch Mobazane at the right times, it is guaranteed turtles. It is guaranteed objectives for the side of Area 77.
Interestingly enough, I always wonder about certain picks here. We've got the Harith coming out, which is a good counter for the Roger in the lane. But to me, it's almost like, do we feel that Harith counters the Roger enough to kind of upset the field of battle? Because we've seen yesterday, Roger, he can have a huge effect. We saw in the last game too, Roger does an amazing amount of damage. Once they get chunked low, he's almost like a Martis in the sense that once they get low, he can start zooming in, picking them off one after another, which really played well into that Odette Swan song as well. ISO picks up the Harith. I'm actually eager to see this succeed. We saw a little bit yesterday. I think even Zia commented on it. He wasn't really great on the Harith right now, even though he used to be, I want to say, world ranked on it. He feels like it's just something new right now with the newest updates with it that he wasn't able to catch along. We're going to see if ISO has picked up on that quicker and can have a better success with that hero.
Definitely. I mean, so they get the R-Lot. You know, you mentioned the Harith. So I think, because I'm still wondering about, like, when I saw the patch, I almost felt like it felt more like a nerf to the Harith just because of the damage. But it seems like last night we saw everyone prioing it. Even, I mean, it's been on the first ban sometimes, whether it's a counter to Roger or not. Because you're right. The only time we really saw it before was with against the carry, against the Roger. It was kind of the answer. But now it almost feels like it is a possible first pick, you know, first round draft ban, first round draft pick. It doesn't matter who it's up against. People just want to get their hands down on it. But we still haven't seen it like fully. We haven't seen what all the rage is about just yet. So I'm still kind of questioning it.
Well, the big difference is his first ability, Synchro Fission, is when he shoots out a clone, they both shoot out something and it meets in the middle. If you've ever played Harith, that ability, you stop, you do the ability, it collapses, you're stopped, and then you can move.
It's a slow ability,
and it's really kind of provided a real lag when you're dashing around. Then you have to stop and do this real laggy ability. Now there's not as much lag on that ability. So like I was saying before, you're able to dash around. First skill comes out, dash, back and forth. So it makes it much smoother for people to be able to traverse the map, to dodge abilities, dodge CC, and really kind of close the distance on some of those heroes, especially into the back line. It's just that it's a little bit of a learning curve. I want to say they did, I think, nerf the damage a little bit, so he's still kind of very item dependent on it as well.
That's why I was like, I was wondering, I'm like I understood that he gets a faster attack now. Like essentially the animation is like 40% slower, but it's not like the cooldown is dropped. I don't know. It's just there's still a lot of debate on it for me. And also the big sacrifice with Harith too is without a damaging jungler, without a physical damage mid laner, you're now putting a lot into magic damage. You have like here we have the Marcuti and the Valentina, we have the Harith in the gold lane, and unless they go for a very damaging EXP laner, you know, there's some risk there because as we get into mid to late game, you know, Mobazane can pick up one defensive item for physical and the rest magic, and it just completely nullifies his Harith. There goes the Matilda though for Cold World. Area 77 forced to respond.
Yeah, and I was actually about to think back, have BTK been beat yet with a Matilda on their team? I don't think so. I know the two victories over Gaimin Gladiators were with a Matilda. One of their victories last night was with a Matilda on their team. So this is a big pickup for BTK, which is interesting enough to me because Matilda wasn't even banned last game, and they decided not to pick her up. Here we're gonna come in with the Cho, somebody we don't really see too often. CC going to be in that XP lane. You were talking about a little bit of that physical damage that we're going to need, so we're going to have a lot of that coming out from CC, especially with the damage she can do with those yo-yos. But I kind of agree. We're going to see how it's going to be based on these scaling of some of these mages on the Area 77 side. Still waiting for that last pick from BTK.
Yeah, I just want to point out, you brought up some good points. So far, Cold World has a perfect record with the Matilda. And here's something else interesting. The Harith lost every game last night. It was picked 3 times last night, and it lost all 3 games. And I just want to say, like, I'm not saying it's maybe, I mean, when you have 2 great teams going against each other, a lot of those things don't matter. You know, like, you see some of the greatest picks lose sometimes, you know, some of the most meta picks lose sometimes. But yeah, it's just a point to be made that, you know, nothing seals the deal for either of these teams. When you get to this level of Mobile Legends, a pick isn't going to guarantee that a team wins. And the same could be said for this Matilda. Yes, it is a big nerf, but yeah, it is. It's 100% win rate for this Matilda on Cold World. He's yet to lose with it. They also bring in this Natan on basic. How do you feel about it?
Alone, if it was just showing a Natan against a Harith, I'd be like, all right, this Natan's going to be in a heap of trouble because he's going to need to land these abilities before he gets that movement speed to maybe even be able to get out of range of Harith. But we're going to have a Matilda on that side too to hopefully kind of recoup a lot of that movement loss here. But Trex, we're going into game 2.
I love it. Game number 2, baby. BTK with the lead right now. Area 77, look for the comeback. Looking to tie things up. Now, break it down for me, Private. Early game, late game, win cons. Give me the math, boy.
Well, I want to say like early game for the side of Area 77. You've got Mark Cutie who's going to be able to scale very well, depending on how well Jay Cutie's going to be in here. Kind of, I want to say, spending some of that harassment, but Bloodthirsty King, you've got Nicolette on the Vexana. You're going to have Coldworld, who is just magnificent. As I say that, Coldworld, take it down to 10% there. But the Matilda is just notorious for her early game, the harass she can put on, and then gets even stronger once she picks up that flask of the Oasis. I want to say, man, for me, the win conditions for Bloodthirsty Kings are, I mean, it's all pretty much in their bag with Coldworld on this Matilda. They're going to have the engagement power. They're going to have the disengage from her. They're going to have the shielding from the flask of the Oasis. It's going to be on these great opportunities from Area 77. Are they going to be able to protect Tarzan? Are they going to be able to instigate the fights themselves instead of getting caught? Because I feel like if they can delegate these fights, if they can say when they want them, they're going to have a much better time this game than they did last.
Most definitely. I mean, Area 77 already kind of feeling a little bit in control of just kind of rotations, but this is the same way that they kind of felt last game. They were very aggressive in the laning phase. They were constantly in Mobizane's face. They felt like they were trying to make the plays across the map onto the off lanes, looking for ganks consecutively, but BTK was kind of able to handle that, weather through, and then once mid-game happened, find their spike, find their moment, and start coming out on top in team fights. Yureshi is going to go down. Mielo able to get the solo kill. Maybe not the solo, but the kill up top. Tarzan now being forced away. BTK have control over the turtle pit. Jay Cutie, wait a second, Atona's welcome comes in, gets a land on Nicolette. Nicolette forced to flicker back. Jay Cutie able to get the kill. Mobizane finds the turtle. Now Mobizane looking for the next target. Big bonk comes down. Jay Cutie trying to flicker away. Area 77 backing off, so it's a turtle for Nicolette. A fair trade for both sides.
Yeah, a good trade for Area 77 because as soon as they lost Yureshi up at the top, they disengaged. BTK made the mistake of trying to close that distance, and they punished Nicolette for staying too close. We can see here at the early items here, just a whole lot of those, I want to say magic defense, the CC defense boots for everybody going the same route right now, but not really anybody kind of sticking out yet. Only a 100 gold difference for Area 77.
I mean, the saving grace that Area 77 is going to have here, I feel like, because we were worried about all the magic damage, is Yureshi, and he's going to just be a shredder. But already, with getting that kill onto Yureshi, if BTK can kind of put even more pressure onto the EXP lane, make sure Mielo kind of comes out on top, able to rotate more, it's going to be a huge, it's going to be important for the side of BTK. But look at Mielo in a little bit of trouble. The Datona's welcome locks on. Mobizane able to take out Yureshi. Tarzan, though, still up, finally goes down. Mielo able to get the outplay and get the kill. Jay Cutie now in trouble as well, and that's 3 down for the side of Area 77. BTK turning an almost loss into a full round turnaround on 3 members.
I know Mark Cutie is hoping nobody saw that Eternal Guardian just randomly spawning into the Lord Pit, but he kind of whiffed. I want to say it was the movement of BTK. He thought he was going to be able to catch Mielo. Mielo goes right back in. Eternal Guardian sprays just a little wide, and unfortunately not able to help out his teammate there.
Yeah, definitely rough, and with that, BTK is going to take a big jump. The 1,000 gold lead. Turtle going to be back up in 2 seconds. And with this lead, before second Turtle should kind of guarantee them possibly another Turtle unless Area 77 pulls something off crazy. And with them also having the Natan, having this Matilda, the type of composition that they have, it's going to help them hit that, possible late game, mid game, second, third item a lot quicker than expected.
Well, yeah, and then I want to say we've really kind of shut off the thing that really brings CC into these fights. She can close the distance, but they can clear the distance just as quickly with the Matilda. Detna's welcome.
Oh, Mielo should go down here. Tarzan able to get the kill, but BTK still find the turtle. So once again, a turtle for a member of BTK. Seems like BTK is okay with that trade.
Yeah, I mean, they've lost one, able to get the turtle, and the lead isn't speaking monumental, huge weakness for BTK here, but I mean, it's just kind of saying that they're able to enforce their will around objectives. When it comes to team fights, they can, if their objective is the turtle, they're going to be able to get the turtle. They'll lose one person, but that's what they were looking for, is the turtle. When it comes to these later on fights, when they're looking to get kills, when they're looking to push into towers, is this going to speak the same thing to Area 77? And that's kind of where this mind game comes in for this, is because they're able to get these turtles. Is that speaking for some of these fights as well?
We are seeing the lane swap from Mielo and Basic. ISO drops Savon's force. That's nice. Tona's welcome. On to Mobazane. Mobazane gonna re-engage. Cold World with Circling Eagle into multiple members. ISO falls down, and the bomb comes down as well. Mark Cutie taken out. Nicolette able to pick up the kill. Tarzan down. 3 members of Area 77 dropping. BTK coming out on top of another big team fight.
Oh, and a great Circling Eagle. That's just showing you the game sense from Cold World. I almost thought he was ditching the Circling Eagle, but no, he instead used it to crash into the rest of the Area 77 members to give BTK that little hands up to be able to make that play and find those kills. Right now, you can see about a 1K gold lead for the side of BTK when it comes to the roams, and able to start enforcing their will in this jungle.
Ooh, final slash. Just misses ISO, but locks on to J Cutie. J Cutie looking for the escape, unable to find it. Mielo gets the killing spree, puts him at 5-1-2. The GOAT is popping off right now.
Yeah, and Area 77 is just not able to recover right now. The rotations are off. Yureshi's going to come in for the little bit of taunting from Basic. You can almost feel the frustration that's coming off of Area 77 right now, and they're starting to be pushed in through the mid. They've got one more tower, I want to say one more tier 1 tower up at the top that they're kind of holding on to, but after that, they're going to have basically their entire front line exposed.
BTK just playing this game cleanly, man. Again, just like last time, not overextending themselves, not pushing anything too far, taking fights when they have to, and really kind of forcing Area 77 to make the mistakes. Like forcing Area 77, like, listen, if you want to take this game back, you have to make the play. You have to do something big. And BTK never really sticking their neck too far out there.
Yeah, this is just the discipline that I was talking about there that's kind of coming from them. I was talking about it yesterday as well, where they made a few mistakes against Gaimin Gladiators, a lot of that pressure. Maybe this was like a big talk that the coach Midnight had with them about kind of like keeping your composure, stick to the game plan, because here, I mean, we've seen a BTK that has been very sharp, making very few mistakes, and being a hugely able to capitalize on the mistakes that Area 77 makes.
I mean, speaking of just discipline and composure, it's something, even yesterday you said it, it feels like NA is a very different region right now, because a lot of the games have been, 8-2, 7-1, just a few kills here and there. We're 10 minutes in. That is, in the past, that is kind of unheard of for NA. Even early in season, we saw some games be like 20-20, insane numbers, and we've seen it a lot over the past few days of just teams really not all inning, but look at the damage on a J Cutie. Turtle Guardian does come down. Mielo able to find the kill. You're actually just trying to get away here. Tarzan as well. Mobazane gonna get bunked, gonna get pushed under the tower, able to dash back. Gonna get the Terrify connection. ISO looking for a target as well, but Area 77 not full connecting. Mobazane uses the Appraiser's Wrath, but does not connect onto anyone. Mielo has the final slash once again, looking for a possible target, but no one leaks in.
Yeah, the problem here, we can take a look here at some of the items already being picked up. I mean, you're going to see Natan already has the Feather of Heaven. It's got his 2 items kind of maxed out. We're going to see that Flask of the Oasis has already been picked up for Cold World as well, working on the Glowing Wands and another item for Nicolette. They're doing such a great job, especially kind of maximizing this, not a huge gold lead for BTK, but really maximizing on the use of a lot of these items. Whether it comes to the damage, they're really holding Area 77 to the line. And another thing for Area 77, if Mark Cutie is not getting that final slash, I don't see an in. I don't see a set for Area 77 to really kind of get into these team fights. We saw what happens when Jay Cutie tries to go in there with the Jeet Kune Do. He gets absolutely demolished. So what is the in for Area 77 to really kind of start to initiate some of these team fights?
I don't even know. Jay Cutie has felt useless, essentially. I don't think we've seen one Way of the Dragon connect. If we have, it was so minimal that it didn't feel like anything. JQD hasn't been able to get a big pick off. I think a lot of it's going to come down to angles. You know, JQD needs to, like, and look at him now. You can see him working his way around to the backside on the mini-map. It's their only opportunity. That's what they have to do, but it's so tough because BTK has been playing so tight. And this has been the difference between Area 77 and BTK. Area 77 has been playing a slightly looser formation, but BTK has just kept it together.
Yeah, even here, Nicolette kind of pressed in the back, but not too far back. Just enough so that if she gets caught by somebody, Mielo, Mobazane, they're going to be able to kind of close the distance on her quickly. And even, like, this is, like, great positioning from JQD. Any other type of game, you would see he'd be able to find that, like you were saying, the Way of the Dragon from the back. But he's not able to find the angle, not able to find the opening. And that's kind of the double-edged sword you have for a Cho, is if the enemy isn't making those types of mistakes, like, what is Cho to do here?
You're a useless hero at that point, right? Like, there's literally, and you said it, he can't get in. If he does, it's final slash, or he gets taunted, or he catches a Terrify to the face from Nicolette. I mean, there's just so many things, and then Basic is so hard to catch because the Entropy, and they're the Purifies. I mean, it is literally this is like the worst situation playing on a Cho right now. Just so many things just boggle you. And here we go. He's looking for the play on Emilo, but the Way the Dragon kicks him away. Oh, man. That's rough.
Yeah, it's just those little things. I mean, you might as well, like, it's one of those heroes like a Hilda, too. Like, when you're this far back and this team is sticking together, you can't find those opportunities. And that's one of those things, it's like you're really banking on that early game aggression. Unfortunately for Area 77, they didn't have a comp to really give them that edge in the early game. The only person, maybe Yoreshi would have been able to put on that damage. Mark Cutie possibly would have had that ultimate early. But as this game kind of progressed, BloodThirstyKings came on very strong. They've been able to get these objectives unanswered, now sitting at about a 7K gold lead at the 12-minute mark, and not, like you were saying, not a high kill game. Every single time they get a kill, they push for an objective. They're keeping this very disciplined.
I mean, I will say this. If he does get the Way of the Dragon, you know, as the game leaks into the later games, you know, they do have the ability to turn the game around. Like, one big pickoff plus a Lord could change everything, but it's just a lot of dots to check for Area 77. I'm not counting them out completely, but like, they still have the CC, they have the Harith, they have the damage to kind of really turn a team fight in their favor, but it all comes down to, like, a big Daytona's Welcome or a big Way of the Dragon, and right now BTK is just not letting it happen.
Or a big meteor landing on the whole of BTK, you know? to really turn the tide
Power
right
outage, Wi-Fi outage, whatever, man.
Tarzan, even there, I want to say a few seconds ago, we saw Area 77 activate that conceal play. Tarzan, like the whole team went in different directions once that conceal play came out. I was like, what's your plan? Tarzan went up alone. The rest of the team went to the bottom. And it's just kind of like, I feel like there might be a little bit of miscommunication, a little bit of frustration we're seeing here. Just a 1K gold lead for the Natan over the Harith, but starting in the mid, I want to say that's where you're starting to see the biggest gap, as Nicolette sitting 2K gold over Mark Cutie. And I feel like this has been the matchup that has really been favoring BTK.
Most definitely. Now BTK just, again, closing in the grass, never overextending themselves. They haven't even tried to push the towers unless they had the Lord. But now that they have the Lord, 2 ways, crashing down mid and top. Inhibitor will go down on the top side. Bottom lane also getting crushed in onto BTK, closing the grass, closing the grip, strangling down all inhibitors. Taken out. JQ able to get the Way of the Dragon. Basic able to take him out. The Appraisal's Wrath drops and 3 members drop along with it. Tarzan Cutie along with Yoreshi under the tower in the fountain. Nothing to do but watch the base get melted down. BTK take game number 2.
That's I know people are talking about the recalls and everything, but man, that's kind of deserved. BTK with I mean, we thought the last game was pretty dominating. This one, it's almost like they were just kind of flexing that now we have the formula, and it's on you to kind of reply and change something up, because that was all BTK that game. Don't get it twisted. Like there was two kills for the side of Area 77 there. BTK slowly but surely, that bow constrictor tightening its hold until the last minute. First Lord kind of comes in there. They're able to clear out all the high ground towers and then take the core without much contention. And I want to say some picks, man, from Area 77 just not proving their worth here.
I mean, I think BTK just played so cleanly. It's not even that Area 77 is exactly playing bad. Yes, the Cho pick, it got nullified in the end. But BTK has just played so clean. Once they get a lead, they're able to just hold on to it, slow play it out, and just keep on pushing forward. And Area 7, like I said, man, they're just slowly strangling out Area 77. They only allowed Area 77 to get 2 kills, and that was even then. It was for those turtles in the early game. Other than that, BTK had complete control of the map, complete control of the game from start to finish.
Yeah, and then here, damage dealt. Nicolette's, of course, topping the charts there. Mobazane going back more with that mechanical type heroes, with the Fredrin just kind of being that tank in the front, getting his retributions. Area 77, BTK, I mean, licking their wounds from that match from yesterday, but definitely I want to say showing a more crisper side of themselves here, not wanting to make any of those same mistakes that kind of brought them here to the lower bracket. And unfortunately for Area 77, it's you're the ones that they have to try to flex on to get themselves up there. I mean, this is game points for BTK, and Area 77 really needs a plan. You can see this head to head. I want to say for the XP lane, Yureshi. I mean, I'm gonna from what I've heard, Yureshi does a lot of the shot calling for the team to kind of get them organized and where they're at. And I've seen this before when it comes to a lot of these teams. They're not really able to kind of expand or explode out there because they're worried about so many things happening on the map. And just Yellow doing such a great job. That's just not somebody that you can have in your lane that you're going up against where you've got all these other concerns on the field.
Definitely. And I mean, in the end, they did a decent job. I think this is a game that BTK, the Matilda win rate continues, the 100%. Yeah. Whether you think she's nerfed or whatever, definitely still working out for BTK. One thing you mentioned that, BTK, they take the loss last time, and I think a lot of BTK fans came into tonight sweating, a lot of BTK fans came into tonight worried. Last season, we saw the same loss happen, and they lost to TOB. They went down to the bottom bracket, lower bracket finals, and take a really bad loss to Avalon. And some of the words that we heard from the team was, I think we were a little in our heads after the last loss. And I think a lot of us, a lot of people were worried that BTK was going to come in tonight and maybe be shaky, but they look as clean as ever. It's 2-0 right now, match point. Area 77 has been a team that has taken other teams through the ringer, just swept DA last night, and is getting their world rocked by BTK currently.
Yeah, I want to say, with the same problems that you kind of had with the drafting last night, I'm kind of starting to see from Area 77 tonight. It's just certain things that I feel, and it's easy. I know it's easy for casters to kind of sit here and be like, oh, well, you probably could have done this better, especially when we're talking after the fight, after we see how things have worked out. But there's just those little things out there, like the Cho. Was there not something better that we could have chosen into that? Was there maybe a plan that we had in the beginning? I don't even remember if Kaja was banned out, but I want to say he kind of executes the same thing that a Cho would do to try to get those ganks, get that Divine Judgment, pull them in. And if it was banned, change up the plan a bit then. Maybe it's time to kind of call that that flexibility there out from them to try to put something else in there, because I don't know, like we saw a huge example of why Cho just isn't in the meta right now. There's so much CC for him trying to dive your line. He's gonna get caught. We've got the pretty specific bans here out again. The Low Yi Angela is out on the field though. This time Matilda out there as well. We do see the Barats and Fredrin taken off the board for Area 77 as well.
Definitely. I mean, bans are down. No Fredrin this time. We're starting to ban as the game goes forward. We're seeing more and more Mobazane bans. Fermi's also take out Nicolette, but Nicolette's already, I mean, there's not a whole lot you can do, but I do think it's still a solid ban. The Fermi's is definitely something that Nicolette has showed can be a huge problem, especially when you pair it up with, you know, something like the Roger with basic or something tanky with Mobazane. Any kind of sustainability makes BTK much harder to deal with, but there's the Angela, and do we see the alpha pickup once again from BTK here? I got a feeling that's what's coming. That's all I want to say. Unless Area 77 like steals it away, but big chance with the Angela being locked in. That kind of guarantees a possible damage jungle from Mobazane here.
I'm not gonna lie. As dangerous as the alpha is for BTK, I feel like that is just one in a huge bucket of options that BTK could go with here with an Angela on their side. I mean, I almost would like to have them take the alpha and try to counter that. Because Roger, don't even say that. I was just thinking that. I was like, man, they pick up Roger here as well, especially because you can kind of flex that. I mean, Mobazane, I think some people kind of forget. Well, I don't really know. Do people forget? I mean, most people when they talk about Mobazane, they talk about some of those great Roger plays, some of the Yu Sun Shin plays as well, and that can kind of be flexed here too, especially because Basic's been pretty great on the Roger himself, but we still do have that Harith out there as well for a
Roger
counter
right here. Just give me the Harith gold lane, Roger jungle right here. Definitely would be epic. I mean, we've seen best player pick up the Roger jungle and make it work. You know, so I think with an Angela, this is definitely something where you can stick Mobazane on something on the damaging side. Instead, they go for the Basha. They're going to play safe, which also works well with the Changa. I mean, with the Angela, not Changa. I don't know what I'm saying. With the Angela, it's still aggressive. It's still, you know, you can really kind of even push the aggression even more on the Basha. Also with the Harith, Heartguard Harith, something vicious, something that can really push its limits, but definitely different than what we saw last night with the Angela from the side of BTK.
Yeah, I like this. It's a grounded approach for BTK. You know, I mean, we know he was probably in the back like, please let me play alpha. Please let me play alpha. And probably got shot down. I was like, bro, Boxia is the choice here. And he's like, all right. And Boxia works here too. The anti-heal that comes stock on his kit can kind of help water down the primal wrath ultimate that comes out from Edith. She does a huge amount of damage where she gets a regen back from that as too. And I say the Boxia can kind of really slow a lot of that down. Plus he's very tanky. He comes with a lot of magic defense stock. And then that going up here against the Vexana will definitely help him out when it comes to a lot of those engagements at the objectives.
Definitely. And now, second round of bans coming in. BTK actually banned out the alpha. Hey, man, whatever. I don't know. Area 77, on the other hand, going to kind of focus into roamers here. Big chance we might see like a Minotaur ban from them, something on that nature. We do know this isn't going to be a Roam Angela, most likely. We've seen Nicolette been playing it. We saw Nicolette, play it very well so far. We've seen what happened earlier. Was it the got the kill on the Marcutie earlier? That wasn't an Angela though, was it? That was the Odette.
The reason Angela works so well is her abilities. She's got mobility where she can close the distance on the side lane. She's got regen that can help her stay in that mid lane longer. She even has damage because every single wave she sends out makes you weaker to the next one out there. She can get some surprise kills out there. Then once she gets her second ability, she's able to slow down and stun somebody. She's almost like the complete package. And then you got the heart guard that means that you could be split pushing and get yourself to the fight, to these objectives very quickly as well. So she just brings a lot to the table that it's almost like, I mean, we've seen her really make a rise here in North America in that mid lane.
What does Area 77 pick here for their jungler, man? They just, like, they're forced to fall back on, like, to the Martis or get really crazy here with something, right? Because there's no fret. I mean, they could go a Kai. That's another thing. Tarzan has been known to maybe pick up an Akai here and there. BTK, on the other hand, already kind of have some of their solid guidelines down. They need a roamer, an EXP laner. Maybe they go for something like the Trizla here, something like the Yuzong here for Mielo. Just kind of a comfort pick for him. Could definitely see the Yuzong happening. They go for the Paquito instead. Also something that's going to pair well. I mean, literally three heroes that Nicolette can choose from. Plenty of options for the heart guard, whether it's the Paquito, whether it's the Basha, whether it's the Harith. Plenty of options for any one of them that could, you know, carry a fight at any moment.
Yeah, even I don't know if you said Ruby, but even Ruby too, to just go in there, give her a little bit more. Oh, that's going to be, do we have...
That's a classic. That's an OG right there. I don't think
it's
we don't have any
interesting.
stats
We'll
on
see
that.
how
That's
it
the first
matches up. I want to say Belma not as bad as he used to be because they took away one of the big glaring counters that he has, which is popping him up. That stops his spin, that stops the huge amount of his damage that he can output. So now he really can't be CC'd out of his damage. You're gonna have the lethal strike to be able to kind of increase the damage that you can do with the retribution into objectives, which will give them, I want to say, a wider area, a wider berth of mistakes that they can make at the objective to be able to kind of bring that down with the retribution.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen a Balmond at all yet. I'm really trying to yeah, I think this is definitely our first Balmond. Yeah, pretty sure it's our first. It is our first Balmond pick so far in all of NACT. So we have constant damage. We have some way to deal with Mobazane here possibly. We also have some possibilities for the turtle steals. You know, everything. I mean, we know Balmond. It used to be a really popular pick. It's just, can it still withstand? Can it still hold up to what it used to be?
Yeah, that's going to be the real question here, especially when you're going up against the anti-heal of Mobazane, the tankiness that's going to be out there. Plus, you're worried about Nicolette with that heart guard. Is he going to be lethal countering onto somebody only to see the dust clear and they've got a heart guard on top of their head? It's going to be come down to see, I want to say, how aggressive they can get here, because Balmond, once he gets ahead, I want to say it's very hard to stop him. You can see there, guys, the ticket for the grand finals. Everybody's has the ability to go ahead and sign up for that if you guys want to see us there in Las Vegas.
We already got ours. We're ready to go. It's Vegas, baby. back to the HyperX Arena, where some of the greatest stories have been told. Back to the HyperX Arena, which I personally think is probably one of the best venues we've seen for NACT Grand Final, so I'm hype about it. But look at Cold World going down. Yoreshi able to get the kill there. Area 77 starting things off early.
Yeah, nice tight rotation from Area 77 there. 3 men there, maybe lingering a bit too long there up at the top. But like I said, I'm kind of a big, profuse, I want to say a big indicator for these teams. If you have something, make it happen. If you don't, let's go ahead and leave there. You can see right now, hiding in that bush, Tarzan going to be found out by Mobazane.
And they're going to kind of hang out up here a bit. A lot of damage. Oh, Mielo. Just able to dash away, flicker out of that final slash range. That's going to put him in a bad spot for BTK to try to contest this turtle. No heart guard going to connect either. Nicolette still has it. Mobazane gonna decide not to go for the steal here. Just back off and get the purple buff while you can. Cold World also here to help out, but Area 77 now with shields, now with buffs, ready to go. Gonna try to come in. Big stun, big knock up. Down comes the Eternal Guardian. Tarzan able to get the kill onto Cold World. JQT finds Mielo, and Mobazane on the run.
Oh, and this is the aggression and the initiation that I was looking for, Area 77. Stop responding to BTK. Start making your own plays. Once you have the advantage, start going into their jungle. Make those plays. Make them respond to you. And we're seeing that here, especially with great success to Area 77.
I mean, this is what you normally see from a Ballman. Early game aggression. Whether he's been in the meta or not, you still know that the damage is there, especially in the laning phase. And with kind of the squishier mid with something like Nicolette here, you kind of lose a little bit of CC there. You lose a little bit of that aggression. Milo also not really able to deal with some of the initial burst damage coming from Yureshi and Tarzan. It's definitely something that I think is catching BTK off guard here.
Yeah, and that's kind of the one thing that you were talking about too, that you lack in the mid lane from Nicolette right now is clear. Oh, ISO in trouble.
They try the gank, unable to connect. Should be able to get some gold plating here. But MarQt and JQT able to come in and defend, and BTK unable to make something happen there.
Yeah, and that's not often that you see BTK with a failed gank on the side. Just great, I want to say, map presence from ISO. Sees it coming immediately. Doesn't try anything fancy. BMIs himself to safety. And then you have JQT and MarQt there to kind of help with the support to try to protect that lane, make sure they don't get much out of it.
Tarzan pulling up once again. They know that they have no CC. They have no way to stop them. A lot of damage does come on to JQT. JQT in a little bit of trouble. Mobazane forced to back off. Area 77, they got what they came for. They take the purple buff, leave Mobazane with nothing, and now they're going to move on to the turtle.
Yeah, I mean, and uses that lethal counter to start robbing Mobazane of his jungle minions. He's not going to have it for this turtle, but he doesn't need it. They've already kind of pushed back BTK. They don't even want to try to go for this turtle. Pretty smart on them to kind of try to make something happen somewhere else. Unfortunately, I want to say a great game right now for Area 77. As we're taking a look at some of these items, Balmont has already picked up the War Axe for his side there. Mobazane's still looking. He does have... we do have a Heart Guard.
Basic with the Heart Guard. Maybe in a little bit of trouble. Drops some Mon's Force. Able to get some nice shots onto Tarzan, onto the rest of the team. JQT down to about half health, but should be okay. Basic showing that he's not one to be messed with right now, especially with the hair plus the Heart Guard, the Purify. He's definitely able to really push his boundaries. A little bit of damage in the mid side. Tarzan trying to clear up the waves, trying to put pressure onto that tier 3. Mobazane just trying to defend, just trying to hold ground and stop Area 77 from pushing into their land.
Yeah, and I mean, he's doing a decent job of it. We saw before when it came to the items, only had the Molten Essence for Mobazane. Oh my gosh, Basic with a blazing duet all over his face. ISO claims himself a body.
Yeah, I don't think Basic expected them to come back once again. And there goes another purple buff. This man's buffless. Mobazane unable to get anything in his own jungle. Area 77 just continuously hounding down. Yureshi, though, gonna get a little stunned up. Able to come back through, hit the final slash onto 2 members. Yureshi should be able to get away from this safely. Nicolette and Cold World just trying to defend with every little thing they have. But Area 77 continues to put the pressure down. A tower in the mid, a tower in the bot. Next target, a tower in the top.
I like that playing there so far by Area 77 too. All that little aggression there at the purple buff is happening while they're also taking that mid tower. So even though he kind of presses himself into the mid lane, he has an escape because they're able to take down that tower very quickly. You see here the damage firmly in favor of Area 77 right now. Really kind of waiting for this like mid to late game to start kicking off to maybe have a little bit of an answer here.
Ooh, a lot of damage does lock on. Cold World falls next. MarQt taking a little bit of Mobazane, trying to chase him down. Basic there as well with the Heart Guard locked on. Samon's Force does not connect. No kills. MarQt drops. They're still looking for something else with Basic unable to fully unload. Turtle still on the map. Both teams completely ignoring it and going for each other instead. Milo looking for a target. but BloodThirstyKings just unable to get the killing blows onto many people. They're trying to get the final hits. Basic drops another Zaman's Force, but unable to find anyone.
Whoa, ISO comes in with a blazing duet.
Look at the damage on a Basic. Basic forced to run away. Tarzan looking for a connection there. Finally, Mobazane finds a purple buff. First one in ages. Area 77 now going to move on to the turtle.
First, a purple buff. That's a victory as far as Mobazane is concerned.
That's a victory right there, baby.
Yeah, they've started. They've like, all right, guys, I think we're going to make it. But, I mean, that opens it up. Area 77 able to take this final turtle of the game. It's going to be nothing but Lords from here on out. And I want to say, even with that fight, BTK unable to make much happen, able to get those kills. And then at the bottom lane, ISO pushing to the high ground. So, I mean, still able to make something happen all over the map.
Oh, man, poor Cold World, man. He's, oh, nice flicker. I'm offended. Locks on ISO. Has the heart guard. Won't be able to get away. And now, Nicolette, a death by her own skill. Forced to go down. ISO's cleaning up house right now. Mark Cutie finds Basic, and ISO looking for the next target. Locking onto his old teammate, but ends up falling to Milo. 3 members down on the side of BTK. They do respond by taking 2, but Area 77 still comes out on top.
Yeah, I mean, Area 77, they have 1 kill more in favor of them. I hear that we're about to have a replay so we can see that fight again for the side of Area 77, kind of what kind of kicked off there, especially because I want to say it's kind of even so far. Neither team able to really make any kind of push for some of these objectives.
Let us see it. I mean, overall, Cold World tries to last as long as he can, and I will say that in the end, he does buy enough time for Basic and Mobazane to get involved here. JQT goes down, but in the end, with Basic falling and Nicolette, as long as Cold World, I feel like the win does come out on top for Area 77. BTK are, I think, since they take 2 and they are a bit behind, it's kind of a good trade for them. Just trading in general, slowing down ISO a little bit helps out, but it definitely could have been better, and Area 77 still controlling the game.
Yeah, a firm grasp right now as they're starting to kind of push around. 15 seconds locked onto this next Lord. Ooh, I think they're caught up at top.
Yeah, should be okay. Milo, gonna be safe. Back to what you were saying.
Yeah, I just want to say, like, when it comes to these objectives right now, BTK still don't have an answer, still aren't really able to kind of force their way in. Only about a 4K gold loss for them right now. As we're taking a look at some of these items. I mean, you can see ISO already has the Golden Staff, Demon Hunter Sword, so he's going to be chunking into the back lines. You're going to combine that with the Vexana damage from Mark Cutie. There is just a whole lot of damage and possibilities for Tarzan to kind of close in with that lethal counter.
It's in a bad spot here. Closed in by 4 members. Looks for a kill, but unable to get one before he goes down. BTK now down a member. 26 seconds on the death clock from Yellow. Area 77 might try to force this Lord sooner than expected.
Yeah, and I mean, they did force Mark Cutie to go back to base. You did see the split pushing there by Nicolette up at the top, which forces the engagement from ISO, who's going to have to go up there. They know ISO's not there, so it just depends on if they're willing to kind of start these engagements when they see people kind of out of line. Ooh!
Freshy in a little bit of trouble here. Eternal Guardian does come down. Basic with the heart guard. Locked on. Still nobody falls from either side. Lord still at 100%. Area 77, get a nice push onto the mid side. Milo forced to go and clear that up. You're actually going to go back to base here. And ISO going to hug around the backside into the tri-bush and gain a position over this Lord pit.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing such a good job of kind of baiting out the Lord, backing up when they need to. I almost thought Yureshi was caught again. I have PTSD from that first game when he was ganked like 3 or 4 times. But this time, he's starting to know his strength. He's got a lot of that defensive items built up, uses that flicker to get himself back out of harm's way, walks away while the rest of the team engages. And unfortunately, BTK, they see it coming, they back up, and then this Lord gets reset.
Mobazane unable to find a way in here. Cold World trying to zone away Tarzan, but taking a lot of shots to the face. ISO with the damage. Milo open to the top side, able to get split push on. ISO comes in with a blazing duet, sending multiple members of BTK away from this pit. He finds Nicolette, and Mobazane is on the run. It's nothing but Milo and Zane against the world. BTK, was it worth the risk there? Pushing in on that top side because now Area 77 is rushing down the mid.
Yeah, I was about to say, they didn't have Mielo for that fight. They were trying to get that split push in, but that meant they were a man down for that fight. Look at this, the aggression from Area 77. Not going to be able to close it up here, but still. Mobazane inches from death as we now have minions rushing down mid.
Area 77 have caught a lot of momentum in this game. It's a 6,400 gold lead. BTK, I mean, their only option is, you know, wait, hold out, wait for the play to happen. I will say Area 77 is a little more chaotic in their pushes, but that could be exactly what's leading them to victory here. Tarzan just 3-0-5 right now on the Ballman. Definitely looking vicious. Bottom inhibitor will get laid waste upon. The Lord does go down. Basic able to help clean things up. BTK not out of the game just yet.
Yeah, they still have another rush of minions kind of coming in here, starting to put that pressure onto the bottom lane, and they find themselves another high ground, possibly looking to close things out.
I mean, they're not going to force it. Area 77 taking things slow. Nice, I'm offended on Tarzan there. Going to pull him in. Area 77 now backing off. Going to go for the purple buff up in the top side. BTK. It's good that they still have this top inhibitor because if Area 77 is unable to close, they won't be pushed too hard on the long lane. Cold World in a little bit of trouble here. Big final slash on a Mobazane and Cold World. Cold World going to get knocked up. Taking out Tarzan, able to get the kill. Mielo now backing off as well. Area 77 still taking the slow approach in. Mobazane gets a stun onto ISO. Zamon's Force drops. Basic looking for a target. A lot of damage onto ISO there. Now BTK trying to respond back. Heartguard locks onto Mobazane. Yureshi looking for a target, gets a final slash on Milo and Basic. Yureshi dashing through. Mortality drops for Yureshi. Yureshi backing off Area 77, backing off BTK. Survived the push.
Oh man, I was about to say they're pushing really hard on the Area 77. All they need to do is turn around, and you might actually have a little bit of a mistake on your hands. But very, very slyly, they both walk away. Nobody takes a death there. You can see right now, absolute full build there for ISO right now. Still coming on there. I want to say Belmont and Arlon. Oh, big pop up.
Whoa, a lot of damage on Mielo. That is rough. That is rough. Losing that member right here, right now is huge. It's a 30-second death counter for Mielo, and Area 77 knows that they know they have an advantage. It's 5v4. They're going to push down on the top side. 4 seconds for Lord. They don't care about that. They might try to go for the end here.
Yeah, they're starting to put this pressure. They just want to get that last high ground. Oh, nice little final slash.
A lot of damage, and look at Tarzan. He's going to go for the Lord instead. Will the rest of Area 77 put the pressure down, keeping BTK in their base?
Yeah, I like this decision here to split push into it, get that last high ground out there, because now it means that even if BTK wanted to contest it, they have a timer. They have only so long that these upgraded minions will start pushing into their base now. They have no protection, no high grounds left, so they can only kind of linger in these fights for so long, and that's exactly what Area 77 wants. They want to keep that pressure on BTK.
Area 77 doesn't care about match point. It's just another game to them. And they're ready to take us the distance here. BTK on the edge, down all inhibitors. Can they even defend this push right here? If they can, it could be the answer. We did see Basic pick up the Holy Crystal. Will the damage be enough? ISO into the backside with a Blazing Duet. Looking for Nicolette, looking for Cold World, but they find Basic. Tarzan gets the kill, and that's the major damage dealer for BTK. Yureshi drops a Mielo though, but he's gonna die for that one. Lord still crashing in at full health. All they gotta do is lock onto the base, and that should be it. Area 77 taking us to game number 4.
Ooh, and what a game, too. I want to say shades of BTK's last game, but they were able to switch the seats there. Area 77, a very dominating win for them. I want to say it was only 3 or 4 kills for the side of BTK there, but man, they've closed up a little bit of those mistakes. They were more aggressive in the early game. They were able to hold that control throughout, and this is, I want to say, this kind of, maybe it is part of the compositions that are really kind of messing them up. They had a lot of that early game, especially with the Balmond domination there, and they held on to it, and they didn't loosen up for the entirety of the game.
And we've been seeing Such different picks come in these past 2 days and win games. And I mentioned in the very beginning of the series, I was like, Area 77, are they going to get a little flavorful? Can they pull something out that catches BTK off guard and make it work? And if a lot of teams picked up the Ballman, we'd be doubting it. A lot of teams wouldn't be able to pull it off. But Area 77 know what it means to pick this. They know they have to be very aggressive in the early game. They know they have to push in, play for objectives, play for BTK's objectives, and if they can pull it off, it is their win con, and they did it perfectly.
Yeah, here you can see ISO. I mean, he had a huge job. The stats, I want to say Tarzan had a huge game, but that is what enabled ISO to kind of get fed, to be very lackadaisical in his lane, just get the gold that he needed, so that by the mid to late game, he was chunking them down, able to get into that back line. You can see here, Yoreshi doing a great job on that XP lane, not getting caught as often as he was in the first game. There were some parts where I thought was actually kind of questioning, but he was able to get out with that flicker. And here's that jungle matchup that I was talking about before. 6-0-5 right now. Tarzan just did such a great job here getting those kills, and especially on the Belmont, who I want to say fell off, but he does lack a few of those counters now that his spin can no longer be interrupted by pop-up. So he's still dealing a ton of that damage to your players, even when you're CCing him. So once the CCs are off, you're one lethal counter away from like losing 2 or 3 members.
Yeah, I mean, it's huge. I think just this win alone for Area 77 could be the tide shifter. It's going to be a nice game of a nice gain of momentum. Also, winning it, you know, with the Ballman changes things a lot. Shows that Area 77 still has more cards up their sleeve for a game number 4 and possibly a game number 5. BTK were just kind of, I mean, they came in so strong in game 1. They came in so strong in game 2. And Area 77 finally kind of gets them on tilt there. You know, can they carry that into another game? Can BTK kind of, you know, get their composure back? A lot of questions in the field for me.
One thing I've noticed too is that was Harith on BTK's side as well, and then the last game that Area 77 lost was Harith. Man, Harith is just not faring too well right now, at least in North America.
His percentile is going down right now from last night, man. I'm telling you guys, it's a nerf. It's a nerf in disguise.
Well, I mean, it's either a nerf or it just takes one of those special hands that need to play. I know when Ruby was meta, even here, like she had one of the worst win rates despite being like one of the highest pick heroes, which kind of points to you needing to have maybe a little bit more of a mechanical gifted hand to be able to play them correctly. That might be the same that we're looking at with Harith here. Still on the board right now. Still got that Angela out there and the Matilda out there as well. We saw Angela didn't have as big of an effect for BTK as we thought she would.
Yeah, BTK definitely though looking for something here. They ban out the chip here. I think it's definitely kind of like it's a decent ban, but it's also a throwaway ban, like maybe looking for trades. And like you said, there's the Angela, there's the Matilda. We are looking for trades here on the side of BTK. Area 77, do they first pick this Angela and take it away from BTK?
Yeah, that's something I'm kind of wondering here. Angela, I mean, despite
they just beat Angela, right? Like they just beat
they just beat Angela, and yeah, they're gonna go ahead and give it up. They're gonna go prioritize this Edith. Edith snuck into the meta very recently because of these most recent, I want to say, shakeups with the meta, where all the tanky heroes now have gotten a little bit of a buff. All of the defensive items have gotten a little bit of a nerf. So a lot of those tanky heroes, Terizla, Edith, those XP laners, they are, I want to say, shining right now when it comes to like their survivability.
I mean, and now still no Angela, no Matilda pick from either side. They go for the Vex, they go for the Arlot. And we've been, like you said, man, we're seeing other picks be prioritized kind of. And these are picks that kind of make your team solid, because sometimes when you just go for the Angela, when you just go for the Matilda, when you just go for some of those things, you lose some of the picks that just can kind of really the glue. These picks like the Arla are the glue that hold the team together. You get your CC in there, you get your engager in there. You know, even with the Vexana, you get a big engager with the Eternal Guardian, you get CC. And sometimes if you forget about those things, it can completely make your whole team composition fall apart.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting here. I do like this this Valentina pickup. I mean, I'm not sure that we're going to be seeing an Angela this game just because, I mean, she shines in that mid lane too because she's got such priority. We did see a little bit of a problem though with it in that what she lacks that other mages have, especially that clearing the mid lane and being able to rotate quickly is one of the places where she needs a little bit of a help, where you might want to have a Grok on your team or something, a roam that can help clear out that mid so that you can kind of escort her to kind of get to those lanes. Because when she's left by herself, I mean, you're like heart wave, like, man, these minions aren't dying. Meanwhile, your side lanes are getting ganked. You're not able to help them, especially in those early moments before you get that level 4.
And now Mobazane finally going to pick up the Panda. Been waiting for this pick. I think it's a solid pick on it. It's like one of the few utilities, and you know, the Basha now going to get banned out from BTK, but I think it's been kind of his fallback whenever the Barats and the Fredrin are banned out. And now with the Basha gone, I feel like the jungle has been a really important pick for both teams. When we see Tarzan really unable to get something super solid, we can see the team falter. Last game was the first time we saw him, you know, pick outside of the box though and pull something off. But with an Akai on the field, a Ballman, you know, isn't going to be able to do its thing. With an Akai on the field, an aggressive jungler isn't really going to be able to stand up. So now Tarzan might finally actually be in a tight spot.
Well, yeah, that's one of the things too. I believe they changed it. Oh no, it wasn't Akai. But I want to say Akai used to be the ultimate counter for Balmond in that he could pop up Balmond and stop his spinning. Not so much this time, but you still have that heavy spin that can pin Balmond against the wall. He won't be able to retreat. He won't be able to get off his lethal counter to try to get some of those objectives. Meanwhile, Akai is going to be able to get the retreat while he's heavy spinning as well. So, I mean, a good pickup there. Just depends on where we're going with it. I really wasn't big on them picking Balmond a second time in the first place. I feel like that was like one of those little like one time to surprise you, and now we've established our foot. We've got our foot in the door. We're gonna kind of try to keep this pressure on. Basic, they're gonna go ahead, take away this Claude. Well, I mean, the Roger was already picked up, but they're gonna pick up this Claude. Hopefully, try to show a little flex on ISO, show him how it's done.
They got to go something outside of the box here, man. I mean, everything is gone for Tarzan. This is a tough call right here. Maybe they go for something more on the assassin side, you know, fall back to something like a Noland or something out of the box here. I feel like if they were going to do that, though, they would have had to pick up the Angela. Yeah, man, if there's no Martis, no Basha, like Tarzan, does he just fall back to an assassin here or something? Oh.
Yep, he's gonna go for the wait.
It might be a swap though. No, it might be jungle Roger, and they go fighter off lane. They go double fighter off lane. Maybe.
Means, where's this Edith and this Benedetta going?
That's what I'm saying. Double fighter off lane. Edith EXP. And I mean, we're not seeing them swap, so.
Yeah.
But it could still swap. I'm saying it's very possible. It's very possible.
Just putting that out there. They could swap, you guys.
Hey man, I'm expecting it, honestly. I feel like the Roger's possibly more viable. I don't know.
Yeah, we can see we're still waiting on Cold World to see what that last roam is going to be a pickup here. Minotaur, I want to say those big setting potentials kind of taken off the board right now. I mean, okay. Gonna go with the show.
Okay, so Yureshi is going to pick up. So Yureshi stays on the Edith, JQD on it. I think all last swaps are in. Nothing major going to happen here. The Cho on BTK, I mean, I think it's solid enough. It can maybe catch off Tarzan if he decides to, you know, get a little too deep. I think there could have been some better picks than the Cho, but honestly, with the way that I like BTK's draft, man, I like it. And the The Benedetta's a wild card. Benedetta's a wild card. You have the Eye for an Eye, you have the Electro Final Blow, you have some dance maneuvering to deal with the Akai and still play for objectives, but it is going to be much harder.
Yeah, and I was going to say, I mean, the Eye for an Eye, depending on if you can line it up when Cho's trying to come in for his Way of the Dragon, might be good enough of a counter for them. But, I mean, Trax, so we're at game number 4 here.
Let's go. Game number 4, match point for BTK. Area 77 coming back with 1 win last time. Can they turn it into 2 and bring us to game 5? Last game we saw a nice out-of-the-box pick with the Ballman. This game, another one, but this time it felt a little more forced. It felt a little more like, what do we pick here? They bring in the Benedetta, which, as I said, there's some possibilities with it. You have the Electro Final Blow. You have some dance possibilities when it comes to kind of Turtle and Lords fights, ways to kind of move around and position yourself when you're going up against something like an Akai and a Cho.
Yeah, we see a whole lot of, we got a Purify on Mark Cutie, Purify on ISO as well. Definitely looking to kind of count. Oh, we have a little bit of engagement.
A lot of an engagement, all for a Litho Wander. Both teams showing that they want to put the pressure down. Now, I think Area 77 has possibly more early game pressure, so BTK's got to kind of take things slow.
That's a whole lot of dancing shoes there for Quantum Charges on the side of Area 77 there. They're looking for the mobility. They're looking to be able to engage and get those rotations onto the side very early.
I mean, that's the composition they have with an Edith, with a Grok, with a Benny jungle. It's very similar to last game where they want to be aggressive, get some picks maybe early on, and not let BTK hit that 7-8 minute spike too hard. Try to get ahead of BTK before BTK gets ahead of them.
Yeah, it's all going to kind of come down to this first objective I'm really looking for, because that's really, I want to say, like, especially teams like BTK, Area 77, they really shine once they get that control. Once they're able to get some kills on the board, they just really start pushing, and it's so hard for teams to kind of come back from that.
BTK not forcing anything either. Milo does dash in there, but still both mid laners hanging out on the boss side. Big final slash. Nice Terrify on Yureshi. Yureshi looking for something as well. Mobazane able to get the turtle, looks like. Area 77 also not forcing anything, but it does look like Tarzan went up and stole the orange buff, so at least making up something there and actually keeping themselves slightly in the gold lead.
Yeah, I was just about to say, it kind of looks like Tarzan went up and cleared out Mobazane's jungle for that, but I think Mobazane realized that, seeing them over there, is going to go start trying to contest here at the bottom. We might have a fight on our hands.
Yeah, they're going to, Mobazane's like, no. He already knows that he took his jungle up there. He's like, we're going to now come for yours. And being that he has the Akai here, he can definitely try to fight for this. They're not going to overforce it, though, man. BTK doesn't want to try to make that. Ooh, they might have to, though. Electro Final Blow does connect. Milo in a little bit of trouble. Tarzan able to get the kill. Mobazane now backing off, running away. Area 77 getting that fight, and this is what I meant to where Area 77 has kill pressure in this phase of the game.
It was just a great combination. You had that big wild charge immediately. Electro Final Blow comes out there. Mark Cutie throws down the Eternal Guardian. Mielo couldn't even do anything. He was in a coma, just sitting on top of the Final Blow, gets chunked down. There's just so much CC, and in combination with Tarzan, there's just it's a lot of damage that you're not able to answer back with.
I love how ISO's like, do I go for it? He was really like second guessing. I think a lot of gold laners are still getting comfortable with after the big buff on the towers, where if you're sitting under the tower, it's like your defensive boost or the damage reduction is even more now. To whereas like in the past, ISO probably could have gone for that and gotten the kill. But right now it's like, can I get the kill? People are still kind of like feeling it out.
Well, not just that, but you just lost a whole bunch of points on your defensive items, too. A lot of marksmen kind of leaned on some of those, the pants, some of the warrior boots as well, to kind of give them a little bit of chonkiness in the early game. You don't really have that, and you have to be a little bit more careful as a marksman, especially in the early game when you're looking for to try to kind of get some of those kills or make a play.
I mean, the whole game, it feels like it's definitely just losing those defensive boosts on those items really kind of changes the way a lot of marksmen have to play. I feel like even over tonight, we've seen a lot more just full damage builds. We haven't been seeing people, pick up the Thunder Belts and things like that as much. And I think we're going to see a lot of that start to change, and gold laners are going to have to start being a lot more meticulous about how they engage overall, and not just early game, but mid, late game, the whole way through.
Yeah, that's a big point, but looks like we're going to be starting on this next turtle fight.
Ooh, Mobazane gonna get knocked up once again. Mielo dancing back and forth, getting the dashes. Tarzan able to take out the turtle. Mielo looking for the kill, but unable to find one. And BTK now on the run. Mark Cutie finds the kill. Area 77 coming out on top in this early game once again.
Yeah, but fortunately for them, because they pulled out one of their laners for that fight, Basic able to answer back with a tower of his own. I don't say it's exactly even, because Area 77 answered with a tower of their own as well, but BTK still trying to make something happen, still kind of pushing on the map.
Nicolette almost in trouble there, able to get away. I was worried. I was stressing. Nicolette was stressing.
It was just like, hey, how you doing? Just gonna walk our way through here.
I thought for sure we were going to see a wild charge or something there, but Area 77 doesn't fully risk it. Taking a look at this fight. This is what I was talking about, Tarzan, man, using that Electro Final Blow so cleanly, working his way to the top side, then bringing it down, able to make sure he secures these objectives. And once again, I mean, the Edith too, Yureshi's been so great at getting the knockups onto Zane, where Zane has been unable to connect onto these objectives.
Yeah, I'm kind of questioning now, too. We're kind of seeing shades of that game, too, where when you're behind right now, Cold World just doesn't have a job. It's going to get even worse and worse as we move into the later stages of the game, when the entirety of Area 77 is grouping up. Actually, we might have a little bit of a gank opportunity up at top, but, I mean, very quickly, J Cutie sees it's going to go up there, provide some sight and some vision for Area 77.
Basic is going to be the real, I think, needs to be the one who really, I think, picks things up here, right? He's the major damage dealer. He's gone deathless. He's got to be able to, play this game to the best of his ability and, really kind of play the macro end. But we got to see Basic show up this game if BTK is going to come out on top.
Yeah, sitting at 3-0 for Area 77, now starting to get their positioning for this next turn. You see Mobazane kind of around back, trying to rally the troops for this next engagement.
I don't even know how well he can force this. Mobazane, though, wants to take it. Turtle will get reset here. Nice Eternal Guardian does land down. J Cutie able to get taken out, but ISO locking on to J Cole World here. Nilo gets the final slash on ISO. Tarzan able to take the turtle once again. Basic with the Blazing Duet, unable to connect on to anyone. Mobazane with a final spin. Unable to push them away in time, and BTK lose out on another turtle, lose out on another fight, and Mobazane goes down. ISO collects the kill.
ISO just in the back, I saw him on the mini-map diving into 5 members of BTK. This is what we were talking about with that Roger. If you have a member on your team that's low, Roger's going to be able to use that howl, close the distance very quickly, like in Pounce, then it's pretty much game over.
Yeah, it's getting huge. Mark Cutie gets an IMU, responds with a Wave of Dragon of his own. Down to the boss side, a lot of damage. ISO able to take another tower. BTK getting pushed back more and more and more. And Area 77 is not the slow constriction team that BTK has been in their wins. Area 77 is we are going to try to end this quick. We are going to bully and bully and bully right now.
Man, right now, Area 77 have shown a lot of people kind of counted them out. You saw that, I want to say 29% votes for them, but they are showing that they have the life in them. They are not trying to go home just yet. They are trying with all their might to send BTK home here and find themselves a flight to Las Vegas.
Yeah, it's getting, I can tell, the BTK fans are getting nervous right now. Area 77 looking to take us to game number 5. Mielo going to be one of the targets to find their way, but Mobazane able to get the heavy spin, doing a little bit of damage. ISO able to dance back, get out of range. BTK still defending, but Basic is a target, and Tarzan is locking on. Big Wave the Dragon, but the eye for an eye, able to get Tarzan to safety. Tarzan is just uncatchable right now. And has been, he has just been locking on to Basic nonstop, giving Basic one hell of a time just trying to stay alive.
This is what we were talking about with Cold World locking on with that Way of the Dragon. The eye for an eye, one of the perfect counters for it, gets Tarzan out of harm's way, and this is going to be another Lord, another objective that BTK just is not at the level to contest, and a very low kill game right now. Area 77, very methodical, very economic with their kills and transitioning those into towers.
Exactly how this keeps on going. It's a 7,000 gold lead for Area 77, and with the composition they have, that is exactly where you want to be. You got a Roger, you got a Benny, man. You have this team that just already has so much kill pressure, and now we're giving them even more. Look at ISO, just able to sit in the midst of them and unload. Mobazane able to get the final, able to get the heavy spin on you. Actually bring him under the tower. Blaze Duet comes out from basic, but all it does is keep Area 77 at bay. Still no kills for BTK. Area 77 with the Lord marching down the bot side. Tarzan Cutie marching down the bot side. Look at Mark Cutie, able to get the knock up. Terrified, Nicolette gone. Another one gone. Basic off the map. Area 77 are deleting BTK one by one.
Area 77 are like, they're showing that game-winning spirit. They are looking for a ride to the grand finals right now. Lord goes down at bottom. We're left to only high grounds for BTK. And right now, sitting at 7-1, 9K gold lead.
Ooh, Yureshi takes a little bit of damage, but he's still okay. BTK just trying to defend. 2 towers down, 2 inhibitors off the map. Tarzan once again just being the annoyance, being the backside menace, being the monster that he is. He said, forget your utility junglers. Give me a Benny, give me a Ballman, give me something to cause some mayhem. Tarzan showing up.
That was another huge point I was going to bring up. Tarzan, just really, when it comes to these damage-dealing junglers, he is shining, especially over a lot of these utilities, the Akai, the Fredrin. I want to say even over his Martis pick there. We take a look at here right now. 3K gold lead for ISO against Basic right now. He's already got the Demon Hunter Sword, Malefic Roar, already has a endless battle. Now going in on Cold World.
Cold World takes a lot of damage there. ISO looking for the connection. You're actually now in a little bit of trouble. Heavy spin does lock on. Nicolette looking for the final shot. Finally, they get a kill. Only 2 on the map. Mobazane goes down for it. Milo goes down for it. Area 77 taking out 2 for the price of 1. They're going to maybe try to end this here. Tarzan and ISO, the 2 major damage dealers for Area 77, looking to clean things up here. BTK backs against the wall. The tiebreaker incoming. Area set. Look at the damage from ISO right now. Forcing Basic to BMI away. Another inhibitor drops down. Tarzan with the Electro final blow just to clear the waves and keep the pressure on. They're going to hightail it back to the Lord and look to end this game.
Yeah, perfect opportunity. Very smart going into the first enlightened Lord here. That means he's going to have the charging power, even though he doesn't even really need it. They've got all the towers down right now. It's just a bare core there. Mobazane looking to try to come in here. He's not going to be able to find an opportunity. Look at this wall he's sitting up against. The entirety of Area 77. Like, there's nothing to see here.
Heavy spin from Mobazane, but this is a defensive heavy spin. That's the DHS right there. Back to base. Able to do nothing right now in the face of Area 77. Lord gonna come in with the next wave of minions. Jake Cutie just got the immortality and even more sustainability, even more time to hang and play for Area 77.
Oh, minions crashing right now.
Oh, final slash. A lot of damage. Does lock in. ISO goes down. The defense is valiant from BTK. Nice way of the dragon onto Tarzan, pushing them away. Yureshi also drops. BTK lose 1 for 2. That's a big response for them with the Lord marching down. Jake Cutie drops the wall to try to bide a little bit of time. Let Area 77 regroup. Let Area 77 push for something. But do they really want to try to force this in with no damage dealer? It is a little bit risky. Basic with the Blazing Duet, able to clear up some of the waves. Mark Cutie drops down the Eternal Guardian. Mobazane taking a little bit of damage. Like to find a blow into the backside. Mobazane used the heavy spin. They are able to clear out this Lord, and BTK survives another day here. Cold World pushing them away. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a game.
Yeah, it is. Still a 9K gold lead for Area 77. A collective sigh from BTK as they were able to get some kills, able to defend that Lord, and even with the pressure from Area 77, didn't take any deaths for that last defense. So starting to come up on the board, starting to, come further. They're still behind right now. Still need to be careful about some of these engagements, but you can see here, this is what turned the tides for BTK.
Yeah, Milo needed a play, man. He's sitting at like 0-4-2 right now. Has been unable to pretty much do anything. 0-5-3 right now make it. That final slash was important, and he finally gets a big play. And we show that there's still play potential for BTK. It's just the gold lead has gotten out of hand, and the kill pressure from Area 77 with Yureshi able to get these pickoffs. And then with ISO and Tarzan just able to harass the back line, it is a tough game for BTK. But now Yureshi going to get heavy spin pinned against the wall. Is able to flicker back. Like the final blow does come out. Milo able to dash through a few times. Milo goes down. Tarzan picking up the kill. It's a 37 death counter for BTK. 30 seconds on the clock until the Lord comes. Does BTK contest this? I feel like they kind of have to.
It depends. I mean, do you fight it at your gates where Mielo has the opportunity to find that final slash? They have a good defense composition, an ability that can kind of, like we were talking about with that final slash, the heavy spin. They can easily turn around a lot of these defense. A little bit of engagement here.
Ooh. Whole world gonna be okay. They looked for Marcuti, unable to get the kill. Tarzan now gonna make his way onto this Lord. Mobazane just hanging out in this bush on the bot lane, waiting for the rest of the team to come in. I feel like maybe they have to force this. Oh my god, it's melted down so fast. There's no way to force it. Golly. Now it's more of can they defend it? They're going to try to come into the mid side here. Look at BTK waiting out in this bush. Waiting for the next card to come in. Big vital slash on ISO. Immortality pops. Blazing duet to help connect. ISO does fall. Milo able to get the kill. It's going to be huge. Tarzan now. JQD in a bad spot as well. That's 2 kills down. BTK able to once again turn the tables there before the Lord marches towards them. They're going to melt this thing down. Area 77 now losing their grasp, losing their hold on the game. BTK on the upswing. They're going to take out the tier 3, looking for the tier 2 on the mid side and turn the game around.
Yeah, and right now they did take away, they chunked out 2K from that 9K gold lead right now. Sitting at only about 6K for Area 77. Still have a lead, but man, Area 77 needs to get it together. You can see here 2 immortalities for the side Area 77. Only 1 for BTK right now. Starting to get those items up. And even now, ISO starting to fall a little bit behind Basic in the gold lead. You see full max items and starting to trade out a few for ISO. But Area 77 kind of needs to keep it together just because you've gotten the Lord, just because you got the objective.
Oh, look at the damage though from ISO. Cold World, Milo in a lot of trouble. Immortality does pop. Cold World able to use the flicker. ISO able to get the Lycan pounce, get the kill. It's back and forth right now. That's a big death clock for BTK. Is Area 77 going to try to close this out? Tarzan a little far lagging behind, trying to get this wave of minions to close the gap. Basic able to clear things up. A wave of defense coming out from BTK. Not out just yet. Marcuti and Yureshi also holding the difference. Yureshi just looking for a target, man. One person to lock onto. One more kill could be the turnaround. Both teams have to keep it careful, though. Big final slash. Once again, Yureshi caught off. Now the playing field is even, but Yureshi's got a much longer death counter than Cold World. Can BTK finally try to push themselves onto a Lord here?
I mean, they're both going to be up by the time this Lord actually comes out. So, I mean, you're still kind of looking at like a 50-50 shot. You have dropped this to about a 5K gold lead, which at the 18-minute mark doesn't really mean much. It's not even a gold lead at that point. You can see here the damage. I mean, kind of even at the mages sitting at 74,000, and then the gold laners at 69 and 52,000 a piece, with the higher end going to ISO right now. But still, plenty of towers for the side of Area 77. Plenty of room, I want to say at least one mistake. As you start getting later and later into this game, that one mistake can mean, like, I want to say 4 towers at this point. But Lord coming up at 4 seconds. We're going to see which one of these teams, if BTK can finally muster a solid objective grab.
Definitely BTK, for the first time in a while, have finally put themselves in a position to contest a Lord. Finally holding a position over this pit. Now, they have to be careful about it because, you know, no inhibitors, everything down. Kind of as you said, it's going to be a little tough for BTK to force this. Mobazane does have the heavy spin, and I think as we creep later and later into the game, the kill pressure that Area 77 once had starts to eat away, right? Like, the Roger doesn't seem as scary in the late game. The Benedetta doesn't seem as scary in the late game, but Basic starts to seem more scary. Mobazane starts to feel more tanky. Milo, even with the 6 deaths, can start to do a lot more. So, when does the cutoff point happen, right? Has it already happened? Is BTK at, I mean, we're at 60k gold right now. It doesn't, the gold lead doesn't even really matter that much anymore. BTK in a strong position, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, they just got to make the play. We've been seeing it. Mielo has been finding these great angles, been able to find these great final slashes to take down 1-2 players from Area 77. They're just looking for an opportunity here. Mielo in a great position here for this next Lord.
Yeah, he's looking for it, and they don't know he's there. He's going to come in. He's biding his time. Mobazane does use the heavy spin a little bit early. Milo still not engaging. Area 77 forcing them away. Keeping his cool right now. Lord getting chipped down. Guess the call is don't do it. He finally dashes in, uses the final slash. Cold World comes in as well. Basic with the blazing duet onto several members. Tarzan still able to get the Lord. A lot of damage. The Terrify locks on and Cold World drops. Milo drops. Cold World out of the picture. BTK forced away. They decide, I mean, they're unable to take it. I don't know if that was the right call, Milo. I'm wondering. I'm questioning. Area 77 may be able to end this here.
Well, I mean, they came in, they were able to get a kill. I mean, and he was able to foster something. But anytime before that, it just didn't seem like the right opportunity. They were a little farther away. Now we're going to start seeing this push on here. BTK fighting for their lives at their core as the Lord marches down mid.
In Area 77, this could be it. 15 seconds for Milo on the clock. Basic goes down. That should be it. Tarzan carrying the game on his shoulders. 3-0 and 5. Nicolette the last to fall along with the base. If you counted them out, don't count them out yet. Area 77 gonna bring us to a game number 5.
Right now, 2 games apiece. Nobody thought that Area 77 was going to be able to bring this to a Game 5. Take BTK to the last line of defense, fighting for their lives, fighting to stay in the grand finals, trying to find that ticket, that sneaky ticket to Las Vegas right now. Area 77's turning them around on the verge of a reverse sweep here against BTK.
Say it one more time. On the verge of a reverse sweep against BTK. That is not something you see very often. You don't see many reverse sweeps very often. Getting 3 games in a row after taking 2 losses is not an easy feat. Getting 2 games in a row after taking 2 losses is not an easy feat. Area 77 just breaking the mold right now. Taking a look at some of the items, taking a look at everything. Is there anything that vastly points out to you, Private?
Bro, we were talking before about it. Well, first of all, Mark Cutie, 4-0 and 12, a huge impact on this game. But the big thing we were talking about before, Tarzan has found himself a nice little crack into this meta right now. It's not that he doesn't really shine when it comes to those utility heroes, but when it comes to those damage dealers, the Benedetta, the Balmon, you can see here, I mean, the gold per minute done by him, outshining his gold laner there, the damage. 100,000 damage, 100,000 damage there by Marcutie, and then of course bringing it up with the assists.
This is crazy. I'm still speechless, man. Game 5 right now in such a fashion that I did not expect. Taking a look at Basic versus ISO, you know, we were matching up gold laners the other day, talking about, you know, who some of the best were, and ISO was, you know, in question of it, right? But a lot of people don't consider him, you know, quite on the level of Zia, quite on the level of Basic, but right now, he is showing up. He is looking for the throne right now.
Yeah, and that's kind of amazing to me too, is just like a lot of the players are just such hidden talents on Area 77. And I want to say it's sometimes because Area 77, they can be up or down. Sometimes it takes them a little bit of time to really get that synergy together. It takes them a few games, a few losses that they took here to BTK, but these last 2 games have been a completely different team. You can see matched up there, Mark Cutie against Nicolette there, both of them almost 100,000 damage. But ISO, that Roger pick into basic, man, just had a huge effect on there. I know a lot of people are kind of focusing, I mean, the Cho pick right now in the current meta, every single time Cho went in, there was just so much CC to come down on him. There was no picking out anybody from them. Even Mielo, I want to say, once it's hard when you're on the back foot. A lot of these defenses, I want to hats off to Mielo. He found a few final slashes to kind of keep BTK in the game a little longer. That last fight, a little questionable. We don't know. Was there an earlier opportunity for him to come in for a final slash? Would he have shown himself a little bit too early? I want to say he waited until they were kind of close to having to lower down, then came in to kind of mix it up with a lot of CC, hopeful that his team was going to be able to come in, get the retribution. They were able to get a kill, lost 2 in the process. A completely different team here, and BTK, both of these teams on shaky ground, but man, Area 77 right now, the momentum at their heels here as we're moving into the last and final game of the playoffs before we move to the grand finals.
I mean, we got to set the story one more time, right? This is a rivalry that has gone on for years, man. BTK versus Area 77, and it has always been in favor of BTK. Let me make something clear. Grand finals after grand finals in the olden days of, Pika and Assassin Dave hosting random community tournaments, BTK was winning those games. These are 2, quote unquote, grassroots orgs that have been namestays. And right now we're sitting at a game 5, a ticket to Vegas, a ticket for either revenge for BTK to try to take down GGG, or for Area 77 to have their first time on a possible route to internationals. I mean, whatever team you're rooting for, it is all on the line right here.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at a team in BTK that has all the recipes for success. They have the history. They've been there before. They've built up, I want to say, they have all the history and the championships behind themselves, but they are fighting against a dream in Area 77 to topple down that regime, to be the new high ground here in North America. Right now, BTK going to be the first pick, fighting to kind of retain that throne, retain that crown here in North America. And I mean, man, there has to, I wonder what is on their minds, if the frustration has set in, if they're just going to hunker down and do what they know. I know they've got Midnight behind them on the side of Area 77. They've got Sir Rose doing the drafting for them. 2 of these drafters going at it, the players in the battlefield going at it. The big things we've been looking at, some of the contention, some of the verses here. Nicolette going up against Mark Cutie, ISO up against Basic, Moba Zane, and him going up with those utility junglers against the more damage-esque junglers of Tarzan as well.
I mean, I can't imagine how these players feel. I have a bunch of anxiety right now. I am emotional just watching this game, like, let alone how some of these players feel. You're on game 5, everything that is on the line. I mean, you can never really account like the amount of pressure that is on the coach's shoulders, the amount of pressure that's on the player's shoulders, especially when it comes down to something like this, when it comes down to one singular game. Everything has been reset here, and the Edith will be the first pick for Mielo. ISO, though, gets his hands on the Raja, which he's showed incredible things with. The Minotaur hasn't slipped through really quick. A very solid pick, a dangerous pick. VTK forced to respond. What does Mobazane go for? I mean, do you see
I'm wondering, do you go with the Harith right now? Or are you looking for... Like,
No,
are you looking for
man.
something else to kind of secure Mobazane?
It's because the Harith, yes, it's supposed to work against the Roger, but it's had such a horrible win rate. It's like, I don't even know, man. I'm at a loss myself because right now these games, like Tarzan's been pulling out. Tarzan's been winning with the off picks, right? He's been winning with the Ballmans. He's been winning with the Benedettas. He doesn't even need something super meta to pull it out. So it's tough just calling the draft on what's going to work and what's not going to work.
I do like, finally, we've situated Nicolette back onto the Valentina. I feel like she absolutely flourishes on this hero. Not because it's just a mage, but she also gets to expand in her knowledge as a roam. She's going to be able to take that Minoan Fury away from JCutie, help with the sets at the objectives. I've seen these. I've even mistakenly thought it was Lord pop-ups, but it's always been Nicolette that kind of comes in from off screen, gets those set, helps to further BTK's lead for these initiations into these fights, especially when needed, right when that retribution comes out. Vexana picked up on the opposite side, now moving into the second half of bans. Martis very quickly taken off the table by BTK, and then that Matilda and Claude taken off. Very quick bans here. Like, they absolutely knew what they were going to do right away.
Yeah, once again, they're forcing Tarzan onto something like the, I mean, it's very similar to last game. They get the Akai, they ban out all the normal junglers, and Tarzan is forced to probably pick up the Benedetta again, honestly. It is literally, once again, the only thing left for him. And instead they go for the Thamus, which is exactly what they did last time. They leave Tarzan for last pick just to decide, okay, maybe you go for Benedetta, maybe you go for Ballman, you know, something of that nature. And I feel like right here, this time, though, Cold World gets the Kaja. Do you want to still pick up the Benedetta against the Kaja? I think the Cho was supposed to have the effect that Kaja had last time, but this time it's a little easier to pull off.
Yeah, was Kaja banned the last game? Was that why we
I don't
picked
remember.
up the Cho?
I was wondering. Halfway through the game, I was wondering that same question, bro.
Yeah, because, I mean, the Cho, I mean, we've seen it already. Both teams, I know people are all kind of jumping down Cold World right now because of that Cho pick last time, but Area 77 didn't fare any better with that Cho pick 2 games earlier from there. And Tarzan here, going to go for that more utility, more tanky jungle on the side of Boxia here. He's going to have a lot of magic defense, a lot of anti-heal on his side. And then he's going to be able to rotate. I want to say he's got a very fast clear on his side there as well.
Oh, this is it. The final draft of the night. Whether you believed it or not, we made it all the way to a game 5 here. And at this point, whoever wins earns their spot. I like the Basha is solid. The only thing about it is Tarzan has been winning with the off-brand picks. Now we're bringing him back to a more, consecutive, more casual pick with this Basha. Is it what's going to be able to pull it off here? Athamu's on Yureshi. Is it going to be, the answer to Mielo on this Edith? A lot of questions on my mind, but only game 5 will tell us how it will be. A story that's been going on for years. Area 77 versus BTK. Game number 5. Only one ticket to Vegas. Who's going to take it all?
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, buckle up. This ride is about to hit that apex. We're going, and this is going to be the most probably exciting game that we've seen. Well, we were taking a look at the drafts here, some of the compositions here. Oh, you already see a lot of damage. Nicolette!
Oh, God. Nicolette gets away.
That was a smooth, a very, a sneeze away from that. Talking about it, Mielo here, gonna be taken. Oh.
Okay. Yureshi, is he going to go for it? No, he doesn't. 2 members already sent back. Area 77 keeping up their MO. Laning phase aggression, baby.
Wow. On the side of BTK, a whole lot of quantum forces and agilities on their side. A little bit more defensive pickup and impure rage there picked up for the side of MarkCutie to keep that mana up there. So I want to say a little bit more flexible on the side of Area 77. BloodThirstyKings going with something a little bit more mobile, a little bit more to be able to traverse the map a little faster there. And I was going to critique JCutie, Yureshi, because I don't know how he's going to be able to latch on to a lot of these these people and some of these fights, because it does look like BTK have a draft that is a little bit more dash friendly, able to kind of disengage and kite a little easier. So that's all going to come down to, I want to say, the setting potential from JQT.
And once again, I feel like BTK just has to get through the laning phase. Area 77 has brought a pretty aggressive comp. You can see the mid side, they're able to clear waves a bit faster, able to kind of out-rotate Nicolette and Cold World. And BTK just have to kind of withstand that. They also have the Thamus, who we all know has some crazy early game aggression. Area 77 looking for that early game snowball, looking for that early game aggression. Nice stun does land on Mobazane. Mobazane in a little bit of trouble, gonna get terrified. A lot of damage comes down. You're actually not gonna force the chase. It is gonna come into the purple buff though. Mobazane has to be careful here. Nicolette there, along with Cold World. A lot of damage coming from both sides. Nicolette goes down, Eternal Guardian comes out, but it's not enough to withstand the blow. Mobazane able to get his purple buff, looking for the heavy spin onto Tarzan. Nobody's there to unload the damage though, so it's not going to be able to do a whole lot. Tarzan brought down to about half health. Cold World looking for one more shot. Area 77 already with a 1,000 gold lead, only 3 minutes in.
You were talking about a lot of damage on the Mobazane to make him run away. That was an absolute nuclear attack. He was left with like 10% health just for poking his nose into that pit right now. And early game does not look good for BTK right now. Not able to kind of get that surrounding into there. As soon as one of their heroes comes in, absolutely gets the atomic bomb dropped on them with the damage, and they're going to have to turn around. Mobazane forced back into his jungle very early. Do you see that gold lead starting to subside a little bit here? Cold World doing a good job, just being a nuisance, annoying here for Tarzan here, but still maintaining a good vision for his team.
Yeah, BTK still, even though they lost out in the beginning and they're 1,000 gold behind, they still kind of, I think they still feel comfortable enough to be in the face of Area 77. They don't feel like they're exactly too far behind. And now with Cold World having level 4 as well on the Kaja, they finally have some kill pressure to respond with, which is kind of big. Basic as well, hasn't taken any deaths. Same thing for ISO. A lot of late game possibilities for BTK here. Also some nice mid game aggression and possibilities because of Nicolette and Cold World.
Yeah, yeah, and that's kind of what you're looking for. You're looking to kind of make it to the late game, but you need to kind of protect that path. Ooh, Tarzan going to run into 2 members.
Huge. Cold World decides not to use a Divine Judgment. Kind of just holding on to it. Nothing too major. So just a little bump and go.
Yeah, I mean, you see that Mark Cutie does have that IMU shadow on him, so that's what Nicolette has kind of selected to go on to. I'm a little curious about that ultimate, too. I kind of would have preferred JQT's Minoan Fury. Ooh, Nicolette almost gets latched on there by Tarzan, but now setting up for the second Lord pickup.
I mean, it could maybe be that she's a little more comfortable with the Mark Cutie ult. Could also just be, I just need to get something before this turtle. And look, JQT going to get pulled away with the Divine Judgment. Mobazane able to get the heavy spin. ISO takes the turtle. Minoan's Fury connects down. Mobazane taking out Mark Cutie, getting the kill. And now it begins. Area 77 2-0 with the 1,600 gold lead. Snowball incoming.
Yeah, and they are pushing, taking that advantage. They know they just got the second turtle, able to push down mid. That is a huge tower for the side of Area 77. Amongst the other towers, that one tower there controls the entire early offense there into the jungle. That means that area, that BTK doesn't really have anywhere to run if they get engaged upon in their jungle. That mid tower is just a huge opening for Area 77 and gives them so much momentum.
Definitely huge for them. I mean, and once again, they have a composition just like their past ones that thrives off of this. Yureshi maybe in a bad spot here. Mobazane able to get the heavy spin and the pin. They bring him down to about half health. Can they get the kill? They need that one. Mobazane actually able to secure it. Tarzan forced to run away. It took a little bit of time there, but they did finally get the kill.
Yeah, they were putting in some work on Yureshi. He had the Vengeance activated. He had his ultimate activated. They were struggling there. There was definitely, if there were more members of Area 77 there, I think it would have turned the tide for BTK. But luckily, able to take him down in the last seconds, disengaged. But man, that kind of tells you the story for some of these objective fights and where they're going to be at, especially once Yureshi kind of jumps in there and is going to be able to tank like that again.
Same thing could be said, though. I'm wondering, when does Basic fully come online? He's got the Corrosion Scythe in right now. Does look like he's a bit behind. I mean, actually not too behind, but the route is just a little bit cheaper, honestly, for ISO. He's already got the Endless Battle locked in. He did not full build the boots either, which made him kind of hit that second item spike a little bit faster. Finally, Golden Staff does come in for Basic, which is going to help a little bit more, though.
Yeah, I was about to say, actually kind of a different build for most carries here. Basic, I mean, you usually go for a couple of those defensive items. You get the belt first as well, then maybe into a brute force, but he just went full damage there to try to match up this pace. Ooh, Mobazane.
Ooh, big pick on a Tarzan Cutie. Big Minoan's Fury. Nothing, no big knockups, though. Jay Cutie actually going to get pushed back. They're going to be able to get the kill. BloodThirstyKings finally coming out on top with a small win there, but they do lose Mielo for the price of Jay Cutie. They get a turtle. In the end, I feel like BTK wins a little bit there.
They heavy spin Jay Cutie all the way into the back line. Unfortunately, Mielo got left behind, and the whole rest of Area 77 pretty much jumped onto him. But yeah, you're absolutely right. This is one of the first, I want to say, positives for BTK coming out of that objective fight.
Mobazane does get his purple buff there. Yeah, gets his purple buff there. So it almost was a loss there. But in the end, gets the purple buff, stabilizes a bit. They turn the 2,000 gold deficit to a 1,300 gold deficit. But it looks like Area 77 going to try to move in onto this bottom tower. And ISO has just been doing such a great job these past few games, man. 1-0-1 this game. Has really just been able to lay down pressure with this Roger.
And this is one of the big things for me is like, why are we prioritizing the Edith over this Roger? He's like having a second jungler on your team, one that doesn't need the jungle buffs. He doesn't even need a retribution. He's running around, he's clearing towers, he's closing the distance on the map. He's hard as heck to try to get ganked on, and he's putting on an immense amount of damage.
Elo looks for the knockup, gets a little bit of an outplay there. Tarzan Cutie going to get pushed back in. Basic trying to unload onto someone. Ureshi, though, going to force it in. Mobazane taking a lot of damage. Ureshi goes down, though. Speedy Light Wheel able to connect. Basic finding the kill. So it's 1-for-1 jungler for EXP laner. Plus Mielo goes down. Area 77 still on top of this.
Mielo got put into the bouncy house of doom there. Yeah. He was getting pop-up after pop-up after pop-up until, boom, he was finally dead. But they need to really watch. You can see that Demon Hunter Sword already picked up for ISO. Lightning Truncheon being picked up for Cutie. They're sitting ahead only by about 2k gold lead is Area 77. They're not quite out of the woods yet, but they are just having a way with some of these matches. The one thing in their favor, you see there, Demon Hunter Sword being picked up for Basic there. And here is that last fight. Mielo just got put down, and fortunately, the rest of BTK trying to get away. Mobazane got picked off as well. But Basic starting to come online, rushed those damage items instead of the defense very early to try to offset some of the damage potential for BTK.
Though, and Tarzan's a little bit late to the party. ISO able to find Cold World. Mielo able to get to the Lord. You look at Basic in a little bit of trouble. ISO getting pushed back. Can they finally get the kill here onto the gold laner? Nicolette picks it up. Jay Cutie goes down as well, but Basic falls. It's a 2-for-2, make it a 3-for-2. It's huge for the side of BTK. Mielo in a bad spot, though. Gonna get the knockup. Mobazane trying to come and help out. Nicolette there as well. Lord gonna be coming soon. Mielo hits the U-turn, and BTK finally winning out in a fight. It's a 800 gold lead for the side of Area 77, and a Lord coming soon.
Just like that, they find a Lord, find 3 kills onto Area 77. Mielo being chased there, turns around, he's like, nah, pop up for your efforts, and Mobazane able there to help secure his escape. And just like you said, a breath, probably of fresh air right now. You could see tied up here, 3 damage items for Basic. Not even going for that typical tanky carry build. We saw the effects of that, though. He got picked off pretty quickly in that last fight, but the amount of damage he's issuing out right now definitely helping to keep BloodThirstyKings in the game.
I'm in full anxiety mode right now, Private. I have to admit, I don't know what's gonna happen here. Both teams just back and forth. BTK with a 500 gold lead, scales up to 800. Area 77 now on the defensive. We're on game 5, and I got no clue what's going on.
You see there already the damage dealt 28k. How quickly Basic was able to jump ahead into the damage numbers. Now at 6 and 7. Lord at the heels of Area 77 right now. I want to say they're up 1 tower. BloodThirstyKings are up 1 tower, 2 towers right now. So they have firmly turned this against Area 77 right now.
Oh, heavy spin. Lands on a Tarzan. Paired up with a speedy light wheel, but they kind of push him out of the distance of it. Basic unable to get the kill. Area 77, got to go back to clear the minions. But now BTK has taken a strong lead, and we talked about earlier, Basic has the scaling possibilities. BTK has the scaling possibilities. I feel like that definitely outscale Area 77. And now that they've gotten the lead around 11 minutes, last game, they had the same thing, but it took them all the way to 60k gold and having no inhibitors till they finally got a little bit ahead. This time, BTK has taken the lead at 12 minutes, and look at the items.
Yeah, you can see there that they, I want to say just both members, especially both junglers, kind of sitting at the same thing. The only difference is that Mobazane only had a molten core, and the side of, or no, actually, I want to say Mobazane is ahead. He has the full cursed helmet. Tarzan only has the molten core. So he's starting to edge ahead just narrowly of his jungle, starting to get that survivability up. And especially for a Nakai who comes to stock every single time he uses an ability, he's going to get that little bit of shield for himself to kind of keep him tanky. So, I mean, doing a good job. They're starting to swing this thing back. The score, is it 900 in BTK's favor right now?
Yeah, which, I mean, again, it's nothing huge. Still could definitely go any way, but I just feel like Basic, he just locked in the Malefic Roar. Looks like he's going to close his last item out with possibly a Wind of Nature. And him hitting that before ISO hits his 5th item, is going to be huge, I think. Once Basic gets the Wind of Nature in, they can push even farther. Cold World finds Marcuti, the knock-up as well on Yureshi. JQT trying to save the day here. Milo goes down, but the Immortality pops. Basic with a double kill. Locking on the next one. Tarzan goes down. 3 members taken out from Area 77, and BTK coming out on top. Nicolette in wolf form right now in the face
and this is what
of
we
Area
were talking
77.
About. This is what we were talking about before. Cold World on that Kaza. The amount of burst coming out from Basic, that Divine Judgment combo. And now, BTK pushing for the win.
That's a full man wipe. May be able to end this. BTK with 1 cannon minion. Gonna be able to lock on to the base. They're looking at Vegas. They're looking for revenge with nods to GG. Looking for the replay. In the HyperX Arena, BTK takes it the distance at game number 5.
Yeah, now firmly securing themselves a ticket to what most North Americans would call the arena that BTK built, the HyperX Arena. BTK have earned themselves a 2nd shot at glory. They're going to be taking on Gaimin Gladiators, but nothing light can be said about Area 77. What a great, I want to say, lower bracket finals. What a great fight. The fighting spirit from them to be able to kind of bring this to a game 5, but in the end, BTK stood firm, stood strong, and taking away the victory.
What a distance. I mean, it ended so fast there. It kind of caught me off guard. Just in a matter of seconds, boom. But it's still, man, game 5, and it feels like game 5s always happen like this. Just any moment, boom, it ends. Both teams just looking for that kill moment where they can close us out and go home, because it's been a long night for both teams. Area 77 comes up just short, and by the end of there, I'm sure so many people are rooting for them. So many people are thinking, are they going to be able to pull this off? But BTK turns off the lights on them.
Yeah, I want to say at the beginning of that game, I don't care what kind of liars are out there, collective BTK fans were clutching the pearls because that was a rough opening. Shades of the last 2 games, Area 77 getting that momentum, but eventually, and this is what I was talking about, you don't really see it. It's not a huge score, 4, 1, and 6, but I want to say the transition, Basic completely ignoring those defensive items, immediately rushing the Demon Hunter sword into the gold golden staff and then the malefic roar. He matched up. They were behind, but when it came to some of those objectives, he just needed the opportunity to put on the damage, to absolutely turn the tides here and close this game out at 13 minutes, especially at a point you can see here, 796 gold per minute, 52,000 damage dealt by Basic there, and of course the assist there brought up by Cold World.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Basic had some rough games where he really wasn't able to show off, really wasn't able to do a whole lot. He's just kind of been able to stalemate in the gold lane, but never really pop off, and it took game 5 for him to finally, you know, once he finally did pop off, we saw things start to tilt back into BTK's favor. I'm glad he finally did, because it was looking rough for BTK there. If he didn't come online that game, it was going to be GG's.
Yeah, it absolutely was going to be there. You can see here we have the head-to-head between Nicolette and Marcutie, and I want to say Nicolette had just a stunning performance this entire series. Very, like, I want to say a very standard flow. While Basic was kind of up and down, Nicolette kind of held the line all the way from the beginning. 2-1-6 here against Marcutie, 3-2-4. But like the last game, like we said, a Basic shine sometimes. He can fall out a little sometimes there, but that decision making to not wait for the belt, not wait for Thunderbelt, not wait for brute force. He understood that if he's going to have an impact, it needs to be earlier on the carry, who is usually kind of a late game hero, who usually has that late game potential that you're waiting for. You're like, all right, we're waiting for maybe that first Lord for her to start popping off here. But man, I want to say just a great decision making there. Whoever kind of made the call to kind of go for that full damage build to kind of help turn this around.
Whew. Man, I tell you what, I thought
a roller coaster.
I thought BTK was gonna throw the match just on the basis of me voting for him.
They almost did.
Man. But I will say that it was very good games coming from both teams. I thought for sure that the BTK was going to come in and 3-game Area 77 just based off of the first 2 games. And Area 77, you know, that 3rd and 4th game really put their shoes on, laced them up, and, you know, showed up to play basketball. And, you know, I don't know what else to say about that, man. I was on the edge of the seat the whole time. That was tough.
Yeah, that game was just strikes all the chords for me. You know, we laid down the groundwork in the very beginning, the rivalry between these two teams. Guys like me and Private and Zeke, you're a little bit newer to the scene, but, you know, everyone who's been around the scene for a long time know these two teams, and the fact that they were able to bring it to Game 5 in a lower bracket match, it just cements this whole NACT. It just really just kind of ties the bow on things. Nicolette's comeback, it's an emotional NACT for me, man. It is definitely, that whole match right there was a roller coaster, and I'm just glad to be a part of it.
Yeah, it's been a huge dream, especially when I first kind of came into her casting. I was hearing all about Area 77 and their potential. And I want to say there was a point in time where I thought it was over. Like, Area 77 had disbanded. There was the BTK had disbanded. I'm like, oh, so I think we're kind of just reining in for some of these new blood teams to come in here to dominate. But eventually, BTK kind of got themselves back together. Absolute stunner of a lineup for BTK, a coach behind him. If you would have told me 2 years ago what the standing of BTK would be, the team members that are on it, the fact that they have a coach with them, I don't think I would have believed you. That just seems so far out of the wild there. And then taking on Area 77 into the semifinals there. I want to hand out there too. I mean, we're talking so much about BTK. Area 77. A huge job here to really bring it here, especially being 2-0'd by Gaimin Gladiators, to drop them down here, then coming back with a vengeance to take on Devious Activity, to sweep them completely, and then almost come so close to reverse sweeping one of the best teams in North America, BTK, but just coming up shy. But I want to say this is the climb time that Area 77. Last season, they left us in 4th place. This season, they're leaving us in 3rd place. This only tells for the future of Area 77 here in North America. But tonight, as we were talking, the story is about BTK securing their flights for the grand finals to Las Vegas to take on what many would say is their nemesis in Gaimin Gladiators.
I will definitely say it's setting up to be, you know, an extremely dramatic finals. If you guys weren't planning to go to Vegas, you might want to start because this thing is going to be huge. And every single one of these matches within this series has told a story, but so have the players. With that said, who we got for MVP?
It's tough, man. Is it Nick? Is it Nicolette? It's gotta be Nicolette. 2-1-6. I mean, come on, guys. What are they? What Private? You take this.
Well, I was just going to say, like, Nicolette, I mean, while we were talking about the ups and downs of Basic, Nicolette just had that standard performance, hoisting up a BTK there. I mean, you see their Team 5 participation, and we were just talking about her effect with that Valentina, being able to kind of take that Malefic, or that Minoan Fury from Area 77, to be able to kind of be that usefulness, while I want to say the flashier plays went to Basic, getting that damage off. Nicolette has been that, I want to say, that sustained one of those most dependable heroes, one of the most dependable players on BTK. No matter how how things are going, she's always got just immaculate placement on the map, the ability to kind of get in there to help out with a lot of these objectives, and just, yeah, she's been like one of those the most reoccurring roles for BTK in the last few weeks, but not more than tonight.
Absolutely, I think you said it very well. I definitely saw Nicolette throughout all of those games, regardless of how BTK was performing, whether they were on the up or the down, just playing consistently well, always playing a little bit more reserved, and, you know, getting some good licks in really where you got to. But I'm not going to get into that too much. I think I got somebody waiting for me on the other line. You and me, man. You and me, man. How many times have we got? 1, 2, 3, gonna be 16 different interviews, just me and you. And you know what? We're gonna be best friends by the end of it. Don't worry about it. So first off, I want to say congratulations. You guys pulled through, man, but it was a little bit tough. So, you know, we're gonna have some questions. So first off, I want to get into yesterday. Before we get into today, what happened yesterday? The matches felt neck and neck until that final game.
Yeah, it was a bit of an anticlimactic 5th game, I guess you could say. I think our draft wasn't... The draft looked to be good, but I just don't think that it was really working out for us. And also, yeah, on the 5th game, definitely more draft related, but we were making errors all throughout the series, you know?
Sure. So what's the biggest improvement you guys have made comparing the last time you guys went up against Area 77 going into this one?
Last time we versed 77 compared to now, I don't know if we made too much significant improvement. I know our turtle fights are usually a lot stronger now, and stuff like that, like we're patient. What needs to be worked on still is definitely just like being more decisive with engages, because just now versus A77 games 3 and 4, we weren't really looking for too many plays, and that's going to be like a big problem in the future.
That was actually leading perfectly into my next question. You guys were dominating in those first 2 games, and then the 3rd and 4th one, you guys, you know, you had me feeling some type of way. What happened that you guys started losing that traction?
No Fredge. No Fredge.
No Fredrin. You guys heard it first. Ban Mathilda, ban Fredrin. It's on the list. Congratulations. So, all right. Here's a tough one. The whole world wants to know. I've had every single person, and debatably their mother, asking me, Area 77, GG. You just faced them both. Went both games, 5 whole matches out of the series. Who felt better?
To be honest, I would say A77 is actually giving us a little bit more of a struggle, but TOV probably is the better team. I just think A77 is really, for some reason, their playstyle is very good for going versus us, and we struggle against it more than we do with TOV, to be honest.
Do you think that there was any one thing in specific that might have caused that?
I think, I don't know, for some reason, we just don't look for too many plays versus A77, and also they focus me really hard. Like the third game, I got almost no blues, even though just out of nowhere, they just sent 5 people into the jungle. It's really hard to deal with the jungle aggression from A77.
Maybe they think you're an easy target, man. You're going to have to step it up coming into the finals, man. I'm telling you. But I got one more for you, one more difficult one. You know, so this is going to be the third time going up against GG in a best of 7 series fashion, you know, around that Vegas area. So is there anything you want to say to them? You know, whether you could say your enemies, your rivals, or even your teammates?
I'm looking forward to go versus some old teammates. That's all.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to hold you up. You know, I know you guys got a little bit of celebrating to do. Vegas is by no means a small feat. Still a lot of practice to do, you know, especially so that way you don't get banned out, which seems to be the common denominator in some of these tougher matches. So with that being said, assassins are us, you know, you'll get there. But we appreciate you so much, brother, and we hope to see more from you.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Got him. No, beautiful interview from Mobazane. Again, you know, I've definitely wasn't somebody who came into the into NACT being a huge fan of Mobazane, but the more I have seen from him, and especially in some of these past interviews, you know, maybe I'm coming around, man. Maybe I'm getting a little bit of a soft spot, and you know what? Maybe Mobazane, if you see this, start being mean to me, so we can drama sells, man.
Fair enough, man. I think Mobazane very well spoken again with the interview. I think he knows nothing's in the bag, you know. And I think recently we've been seeing that even from previous seasons. You know, he's known for a while that losing is very possible. I do think BTK is in a good spot. We get the rematch, HyperX Arena, BTK. I want that same picture. I don't know if you guys remember last year. I need that picture of Hoon and Mobazane with the stare off in front of the trophy again, just like we saw, you know, back last spring season. It's the spring season replay. Let this 2 weeks fly by already.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's a story as old as time when you talk about North American history. It's going to be Mobazane and BTK taking on Hoon and the Gaimin Gladiators. And what a hard-fought victory here. I know as soon as that interview started, you saw the smoke cloud coming from Zane as he was taking some victory, some victory smoke there. But man, it duly deserved for him too. They really kind of pulled through in the end there against Area 77. Like I said, that last game, especially, you're down, you just lost 2 games, you're taking on Area 77 with momentum, and then you start the game taking deaths against Area 77. Just the mental fortitude that you need for your team. Stay on target. Remember what we've been training, what we've been practicing. Take that and be able to absolutely turn that around on Area 7 to come back with a very smooth and dominating victory here tonight. And then you see, I mean, they acknowledge some of the faults there, and you know these next 2 weeks, they're definitely going to be working on that. Definitely want to bring something to Gaimin Gladiator, something fresh and something new for them. But man, I could not have asked for anything better in this lower bracket finals.
Absolutely well said. You know, I do think that a lot of that plugs into what I was talking to Mobazane about inside of that interview. You know, trying to find himself being in a position where it's not always him trying to be banned out, and that's where we have seen him finding a little bit more difficulty. But with that being said, as we were talking about finding success and finding victories, you, the viewers, can also find some victories in our final giveaway. Trex?
I mean, just be quick about it. Doesn't really matter what skin it is, because I know you want them because it's free. The tournament chest holding the Honor Blade Benedetta. And then, I mean, the Benedetta, man, we just saw the Benedetta pop off. If you want to play Benedetta like Tarzan, you got to get the Honor Blade skin. And it's probably already gone because 31 people already got it. So I'm sorry to tell you, but it's first come, first serve. If you're using that T2B code, you're a little late. You should have 2 phones so you can use the QR.
So, real quick, Private, can you take us through a recap of the day?
Well, I mean, the first 2 games going to BloodThirstyKings, I think I want to say scaring a lot of Area 77 fans. They thought this was going to be a sweep, but right through the mid lane, Area 77 finding their footing, found themselves 2 victories. It looked like it was going to be a reverse sweep against BloodThirstyKings, but they are the Titans of North America for a reason. They've got the experience, they've got the talent, they've got Mobazane, and able to carry that team to a final victory and a ticket to the grand finals in Las Vegas.
I'm honestly so keen to see this, what happens and how everything unfolds inside of Vegas. You know, Trax, could you take us through the bracket? Let's see who's going to be stepping up where and how everything really panned out.
I mean, it has been quite the journey. GG and BTK both start off the first round with 3-0 sweeps, move on to round 2 in the upper bracket with 3-0 sweeps. They meet in the semifinal upper bracket, taking it all the way to a game 5, but BTK is thrown down to the losers round, where they meet an opponent that almost takes it away from them, almost denies them of their chance to the Las Vegas Grand Finals. But after a grueling 5 games, BTK finally makes their way. And like I said, it's a nod to GG because they're coming back for revenge. They're coming for that MSC slot.
So I think right now that it goes without saying that there's a lot of tension in the air. And, you know, Trex, you were saying it before, 2 weeks out, I'm ready to get there. It's going to be a best of 7 in Las Vegas. I mean, GGBTK, what more could you ever really want?
Christmas, baby. It's Christmas.
Christmas
in
like
July.
Well,
it's already.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say that's already a landmark occasion, a landmark location. Many people would argue that that's the HyperX Arena is where we have had the best NACT finals match between BTK and OP at the time, where BTK were able, like BTK, they didn't even have this close matches in the semifinals. Like they were getting tore up by the Ohio brothers, and then came back for that final victory in the grand finals. Here, it's been closer than ever in the playoffs. Both of these teams on even kelters here, and now going to be moving into the grand finals. I know a lot of people are waiting for this event with bated breath.
So I don't know about you guys, all of you guys watching. Private's talking about kelters. I don't even know what that means. So with that being said, I'm going to let everybody go so I can go hit the dictionary and educate myself. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for coming out, and we hope to see you in Vegas.
Vegas.